And so it begins. Welcome to the RLBot Championship 2023. This is the machine learning bracket. The finals, our top 8 has been found and it's time to find out who is going to be our champion. My name is Eastvillage and I'm joined today by CodeRed and Aech. Welcome to the casting booth.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
So CodeRed, you won the bracket yesterday for the hard-coded bots. Do you
That's
think
true.
your bot king would be able to handle any of these machine learning bots?
Nope, not at all.
Not even one of them?
Maybe bottom spot, maybe. But even then, I don't know. I don't think it would be that close once you get above like. Yeah, I don't think that would end up very well.
Yeah, we
Wait, I did a match King versus Necto. King won. Okay, maybe not.
Oh,
Someone
interesting.
in chat.
I think you're selling yourself short there. I bet you'd stand a chance.
To be fair, I'm more thinking of ones than I am thinking of twos. I did the same and King lost 3-0.
Okay, so we need more
Okay,
data.
so I'm not gonna trust chat anymore.
We clearly need more data. But yeah, today we are going to see the machine learning bots, and they do have, they have reached a level where they are on, they're performing a bit better than our hard-coded bots. Let's just say it that way.
A bit better.
Just
a bit better than a lot of players.
Yeah, and I think personally it's just because these neural networks and so on, they're much better at capturing the strategy and the positioning of these edge cases, as we talked about yesterday also. Where hard-coded you really have to specify every situation. So for the situations that happens a lot, sure, you can do it. But then whenever you miss a shot and you get into an awkward position, then the logic just breaks down. Where this is where machine learning, they're better at adapting that. Is that something you agree on, H?
Yeah, I think, in general for the hard-coded scene, there are a lot of people who make really smart hard-coded bots that have really good strategies in a lot of pretty common positions. But the problem with trying to hard-code those kinds of things is, well, eventually your bot's going to run into some kind of a situation, some scenario somewhere that you didn't anticipate, and your logic isn't going to be able to capture that. Whereas with machine learning, the actual implementations of the strategies might actually be worse, right? So like machine learning bots, they're not usually good at things like aerialing or flip resetting or something like that. We don't see that too often, but their strength comes from their generality. They come up with a policy that's applicable to pretty much every state that they'll ever encounter. So they don't have these pitfalls where you'll find some, catastrophic point of failure for the machine learning bot.
Yeah.
Perfectly said, yeah. Basically, if the machine learning bot will, find a certain that scenario in its training time, then it probably will figure out how to handle it. Which means it probably can't handle like why machine learning bots don't handle like really good air dribbles and stuff, because often they aren't training against that. But a lot of common dribbling scenarios that mess up hard-coded bots, often machine learning bots have those kinds of scenarios nailed. And it's very easy for them to counter.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
first
for sure.
thing that the machine learning bots learn are typically the movement, moving around on the ground, moving to the ball, moving with the ball. And though there's a lot, or the distance to dribbling is much less than suddenly going for aerials. That's a lot more complex movement that they don't just naturally learn. The first thing they learn is to be on the ground.
Yes.
Yeah, getting a ML bot that learns how to aerial effectively and consistently has turned out to be a pretty huge challenge. We've heard Rolv, the developer of Nexto and Ripple, he called it. I like this quote. He said, "An aerialing machine learning bot is the room temperature superconductor of Rocket League bots." If we
Yeah.
could get it,
Yeah.
that would
Yeah.
be like the holy grail. But yeah, it's turned out to be very challenging so far. A lot of people are proposing some interesting ideas, and I'm excited to see what we can do in the future. But for now, ML bots seem to be pretty ground bound.
Yeah. That's their preferred
Some of them's
mode.
got aerial capabilities, and we're going to see some of those bots today as we
Yes.
find out the best of the machine learning bots at this moment.
So our favorites going into this, personally, it's Seer. I don't know about you guys, but he has a favorite.
I mean, he is seeded #1.
He is seeded number one.
Seeded
There's
number
a lot
one.
of people who, I mean, there's a lot of other people who I also know is excited about Seer because it might be our first almost SSL bot. Who knows? So
Yeah.
we'll see if we
We
can
don't
take
know
it all the
until we
way.
get a visual test, but it looked pretty damn good.
Yeah, we haven't had that many tests in order to confirm it, so at least today we are going to find out who is the best machine learning bot. So, without much more stalling, let's try to start go into our first match here. We are going to see Seer in the first match against Vulcan. And so,
First seed versus 8th seed.
yes, let me start up that
That's
match.
an unlucky pairing.
A little bit unlucky.
That's how elimination brackets work.
But maybe Vulcan make some run in the lower bracket. Who knows? Has Vulcan been updated since last week?
Yes,
Or 2
Vulcan
weeks
has
ago,
been
I guess.
updated. And so
Ooh.
has Ragnarok and the Opti, Ripple, and Nexto. So we actually have a lot of updates.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of new stuff going on today. It'll be a good tournament, I think.
So Nexto has been updated, right?
Yes.
That is big.
You
I'm
thought it
really
was done
excited to see
training, but
Nexto.
Wall has been putting in just a bit more training. Let's see if that makes a
something.
difference.
Some magic sauce.
Some magic sauce, maybe. I think it's kickoff, personally. I saw a new message in the debug.
They've got some tricks. We'll see. Let's get into this first game here. We have Seer versus Vulcan on the kickoff. Now, kickoff going in Blue's favor. Vulcan manages to get a decent clear down towards the midfield, but Seer is up for it. Here, ball in the orange corner. Seer popping it high. No follow-up from the teammate, but shot off the crossbar. Decent start for Seer. The pressure is really high. Vulcan doesn't seem to have too much in response, trying to clear the ball downfield, but Seer is just consistently beating it to the air, and that's a quick first goal for Seer. That was a relentless pressure we just saw. Seer pretty much refusing to leave almost the goalie box from the orange side. The ball was just always there, and Vulcan just didn't seem to be able to push it away.
Pressure could not be relieved. Vulcan not able to clear it away, and Seer just able to push it through. Oh, and a quick beat there, but Seer isn't there to capitalize. Oh, that was a risky clear across the net. Oh my god, Seer just quickly turns it around so fast. Oh, but a miss. Huh.
A shot on the post here by Seer, and that, however, doesn't mean that the pressure is over. Another shot on the post here.
Interesting. Lots of opportunities I feel like Seer's having here to score open nets, but they're going missed out. But Seer's just so fast that it almost doesn't matter. As soon as one opportunity goes, another opportunity arises as they get back into the position.
Yep, Seer got the pressure here, clearly faster, and that'll be sink another quick shot here for a 2-0 in favor of Seer. But I will say Vulcan putting up a decent fight. You know, it seems to be there for most of the challenges. It's just not quite fast enough to keep up with Seer yet.
Sort of shaky aerial, but ended up just sneaking into the bottom right corner.
Yeah, I'm afraid shaky aerials might be all we are going to see today from the aerials point of view, or from that point of view, from the side.
That's
another attempt at a across the net save here, and unfortunately Vulcan just does not manage to get the angle and sinks in the own goal. That's 3-0 in favor of Seer. We've only got 3 minutes and 49 seconds left on the clock here, and it's looking like this might be a knockout.
Was a little bit closer in. Could have bounced off the post, but Vulcan just with the perfect angle to own goal. And
what an angle.
Nice angle.
What a nice follow-up there. Seer popping it up for itself, goes in the air, no fear, and gets a clean little tight angle shot right next to the goal line.
Now that's impressive to me, because machine learning bots have to learn, you know, where like exactly the wall is and how to get that perfect angle. And it figured that out. It got the perfect angle on that, figured out exactly how to touch it.
Seer got an A in trigonometry.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's busting out the ruler for that one. Here, we've got both Vulcans kind of double committing in the midfield there, and Seer will take possession and capitalize on that immediately. This is an instant punish for both both the Vulcans as Seer goes over the top, off the wall, and in for a quick follow-up. 5-0 now.
Vulcan was trying to flick it over, but Seer was just too fast with the challenge, and then the quick follow-up. Good opportunity. Vulcan maybe Oh, I think Vulcan should have taken that slow because that just passes it directly to the Seer on the wall, and that's in.
Yeah,
That was, I think
it-
that was a really good play from Seer that we just saw. See, on the kickoff, we had the ball bouncing off the wall into the midfield, and we saw Seer jump up for the quick aerial follow. Didn't get the best touch. Vulcan clears it high up the wall, and we saw Seer actually drive almost to the ceiling to even meet the ball and take
Yeah.
that shot. So that was really good positioning from Seer at pretty much every stage in that play.
Yeah, perfectly positioned for that clear from Vulcan. And Seer, again, taking the opportunity off kickoff, just hits it high, and I don't know if Vulcan thought it maybe was hitting crossbar or just couldn't figure out how to get there in time, but just sneaks in just
Yeah, so
under the crossbar. 7-0 already.
That's already 7 goals, yeah. So I think this might be the time to point out that, of course, we have a mercy rule again today, and it is a 10-goal lead. Seer is now very close, only needing 3 more, and we're gonna have to call this game.
I really want Vulcan to break out of... Oh my god.
Another
Great
tight
shot.
angle, absolute banger. Straight into the
99
top
kph.
bins. Look at this. Seer gets a clean clear over the top of Vulcan for a nice setup and immediately follows up that bounce straight into a goal. This thing is...
Perfect shot.
It's... I mean, I hate to call it, it's a machine with these shots, you know? It has this incredible precision to it with these setups. It seems to know precisely when to follow things up. You know, it does. Sometimes I think this is a weakness we just saw right here. Sometimes it doesn't get a very good touch on the ball, but in terms of positioning and strategic decision making, it seems to be very on top of things here.
Ooh.
And we see it
Air
off the
dribble.
wall now, flying the ball downfield in a brief
Small
air
dribble.
carry.
Yeah, that was very nice. That's something we see
I
a
think
lot, but machine
Vulcan,
learning bots are
that play-
definitely the best at it.
I think that play Vulcan had off the wall was the first time they broke out of their own half for like a while. But Seer, with the quickly turning around, air dribble, again putting on pressure and scoring that right off the wall as Vulcan was trying to clear it but didn't get the best clear. Seer just perfectly being able to position and predict exactly what Vulcan's going to do next. And whatever Vulcan even gets the slightest of opportunities, Seer is always there to instantly counter. And Vulcan just isn't there to defend. Here it's going center. Oh, a nice touch. Controlling touch Vulcan now has on the wall, but Seer instantly intercepts it. Does not even give Vulcan time to continue the play, continue with possession. Seer, awkward angle there, but the second Seer's there.
And here we can see,
Punishes
this
it,
is what I'm
punishes it.
talking about. Every touch from Seer, none of these touches were the best touch, but they all got the ball just a little closer to the net. And it seems like this is kind of Seer's modus operandi, right? Is everything that it does always gives it an advantage. It seems like some of these touches, they might not be the greatest, it might not have the greatest recoveries, but it's always those little things as Seer is just inching past every last bit of defense on its opponent. And that'll be 10-0 for the mercy rule. Seer taking the first game here.
I wonder, does it, is Seer one of the machine learning bots that takes into account for scoreline?
I believe it is, yeah. It's one of the
yeah,
bots that
I
will take into
believe so.
account for both scoreline
I
and
wonder if
time.
it knew that it was up by so much and was just like, I don't even need to risk trying to put this in. Because, I don't even need, I could just double jump. Because that last touch, it could have probably sunk that one in, but it did, that weird double jump and hit it off the backboard. I don't know. I'm curious if it would have done that against a close game with Nexto, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe we're seeing a little BM from Seer. That could be. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Who knows? I don't really know how the scoreline would affects the machine learning bots, but it's interesting.
So yeah, a brutal start to this elimination as Seer takes the first game with a 10-0. Now we're moving on to the next game, Ragnarok versus Opti. And there, before I go into this game, I just need to show you all Ragnarok's logo. That's something you have to see.
Oh,
So let
yes.
me just find that. Now, yeah, Wrangler has... We've been bullying him a bit by not using any appearance for his bot. It's just been the default through the entire bubble sword. So now that he finally put in some effort, let's show it off on stream, because it's really cool.
I'm excited for this.
Let me find the right button. That's this one. So this is Ragnarok's logo.
Oh wow,
Very
look at that,
fitting.
huh?
Whoa.
Yeah, that looks great.
And as you'll
Wow,
see in
that's
just
really
a
good.
moment, it also fits the car.
Oh wow. Damn, that's so good.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So I hope people have gotten in their predictions in the meantime, as I now start up the match.
So did Wrangler make that, or did someone else make that and Wrangler used it?
I'm not sure. You have to ask Wrangler about that.
Regardless, it's sick. True, Ragnarok made it. That's true.
Of course, this is just his face. Face reveal.
Fair enough. All right, here we are, game 2. This is Ragnarok versus Opti-GP. This should be a closer game.
This is
Last
fourth
time we
versus
saw
fifth
this
seed,
matchup.
right?
Sorry?
This is 4th versus 5th seed, right? Something like that.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. Now,
Ragnarok.
I will
doing
say,
its
the
signature.
decal on Ragnarok looking really clean.
Yeah, the
Opti, of
appearance.
course, with that pink. I love the neon. But the last time we saw this matchup, Ragnarok took it in reasonably convincing fashion. Now, Ragnarok has this particular playstyle that I just love to see, where it takes the ball kind of up the wall in its own half. And we might be able to see it right here. We've got the ball on the hood. Okay, nope, just going for a nice flick.
The other one just
Straight down the
hanging
field.
out and arrowing up the sidewalk.
Yeah, it's like, pass to me, bro. Doesn't get the ball. But now we have Opti for a nice clear down to the midfield. Ragnarok is up, but the touch is not good. Opti going at, a great 50 in midair here. Ball doesn't quite make it to the net. Opti for a follow-up. Again, down off the crossbar. Neither of these shots making contact, and Ragnarok will have an opportunity to turn it around. Grabs the boost, takes the ball down towards the midfield. Trying to get it maybe up the wall, but not the best setup there. Goes for a follow-up, shoots the ball, and just kind of gives it away down towards the orange half. Opti with a really nice flick at the midline. But Ragnarok is up quick for the save. Opti now sending the ball back into the blue corner, but Ragnarok is clearing it across the net. Sends it to the other Ragnarok, who's trying to take it up the wall. Okay, opts not to. That's pretty rare for Ragnarok. Seemed to just go for the flick on the ground there. Now, ball back in Opti's possession. Tries to send a shot, but unfortunately not the best decision making there. Ragnarok with a squishy save. Oh my, the in and out save off the top of the goal. I don't think we've seen that before. Now Opti sending the ball back into the blue half. We're seeing a lot of pressure from Opti here. This isn't what we're used to in this matchup. Last time we saw it, it seemed like Ragnarok was able to get some good aerials in, but this time, well, I might be about to eat my words. This time, here we go. We get one shot from Ragnarok. The patented Ragnarok from its own corner, nearly off the ceiling, all the way at the top of the wall here. Goes for the flick and manages to sink a nice shot from the midfield. Opti was just not prepared for that one.
Opti just did not expect that amount of power, I think. One of them was going for back boost, and the other one maybe could have been in position, but it was a little off. Oh, and a quick goal from Ragnarok off the kickoff. Just capitalizes on, I think the other Opti went for boost, and the other one cheated up, and just an instant punish, and Opti couldn't get back in time.
I can't tell you how many times that happens in my ranked games, let me tell you.
Yeah.
But here we have 2-0 in favor of Ragnarok. Kickoff going in Ragnarok's favor, but the second Opti is there to send it back downfield. Opti now going for a follow-up. Ragnarok just will not be allowed to take it up the corner. Bounces the ball off the wall to catch it on its hood. A nice little flick off the self-pass, but Opti is there for a great save. Now Ragnarok flicking it into the midfield, but the teammate is not there for a follow-up. First Ragnarok back and down the field again. Second Ragnarok has the ball on its hood, but Opti with a nice bump. Takes that dribble away. Now we have Ragnarok catching the ball again, turning it around. We see this all the time. Here comes another flick off the wall, but contact is not good. Thankfully, the second Ragnarok is there to keep the pressure on.
Here we go. Let's see. Oh, a nice angle. Backwards aerial shot into the net. Opti almost able to save it, actually, but just not expecting that kind of shot. You can see the other Opti wasn't even jumping for it, and then just couldn't quite save it, couldn't quite get around it. Great shot from Ragnarok.
Yeah, that was a really nice little tap down for a super awkward angle.
Another goal of this type.
He's gonna do it again. The quick follow-up right on
the
the
second
kickoff.
time in a row.
Yeah. I think
This is
Ragnarok
cheating.
might steal many goals that way today.
Yeah. I don't know how many of the machine learning bots have go for boost on kickoff, but oh, actually Ragnarok does in that case. Ragnarok
Interesting.
did just then. Passes it down to the other teammate. A quick pop. This could be a good shot opportunity, but Opti is there. Opti, kind of bad recovery. Doesn't get possession. Ragnarok keeps the possession. Passes the center, but to itself because the other Ragnarok isn't there and takes it all the way back. Signature Ragnarok move. Misses the boost. Oh, doesn't get a good flick. But actually,
but
it's
his
just
teammate is
net.
there.
Ragnarok is there for the follow-up.
What a shot.
Look at this. We have the great teamwork coming in. First Ragnarok takes the ball at the wall, doesn't quite make good
actually
contact. But the second
Bumped on the
Ragnarok
Opti.
is right there after the bump and manages to go for a nice shot straight off the follow-up.
Yeah, Ragnarok
that's
now
the
with
thing.
a comfortable lead, 5 goals ahead. There's only 2 minutes remaining. And it
Opti
seems like
definitely has some-
his strategy is really paying off here.
Yeah, Opti has definitely had some opportunities, but just hasn't gotten a shot to actually go in yet. Ragnarok looks like this could be the first opportunity right here. Opti
Ooh.
just capitalizing on not the greatest hit from Ragnarok. Had to pop it over one, and Opti just beating the Ragnarok to the ball, and the other one isn't back.
Yeah, we can see that was a bit of a blunder from Ragnarok. One of them had the ball on the wall, tried to send it to the teammate, but hit the ball a little too hard, so the second Ragnarok had to try and recover that pass. And Opti almost with a kickoff goal. But Ragnarok, unfortunately, not quite fast enough on that goal. So we can see Opti is able to take some goals here. You know, there is a chance. It's 5-1, so we're going to have to see some miracles pretty quick here, I think. But it might happen. Now Ragnarok bringing the ball back to its own corner, as it loves to do. It just loves this spot, but doesn't quite make the setup just right. Tries to send it downfield. It doesn't seem to matter. Ragnarok
Can't
just
think that
continually hitting the
open
ball off the post here. No,
Even
Opti
machine learning
clears
bots
it
can't
downfield.
get those open nets.
Yeah, you know, the hardest
yeah.
net is an open net. No? Okay, interesting. Ragnarok doing its typical flick off the wall to actually send it into the midfield and clear it past the net. Ooh, a great shot,
what
but
a
another
save.
wonderful save by Opti. Opti is just so good at these in the air, you know, quick, fast aerial double jump saves that we keep seeing it do. Now,
Oh.
Ragnarok sending it to the midfield, and Opti was
Nice.
there for the follow-up, so now we're 5-2. This could happen. Opti showing some great speed. Look at that pre-jump. Opti is already flying in the air when Ragnarok does not get a good hit off the wall there.
Opti, such quick aerials and capitalizing instantly after Ragnarok's double commit on the wall. Ooh, a nice 50 there. Gets Ragnarok to keep possession in the corner, pass it center. Other Ragnarok is up, but can't get the angle on the net. Other Ragnarok, wow, backwards pass over.
Another one of those awkward touches. Unfortunately, the power is not there. Opti with a chance, but
opportunity.
8 seconds remaining. This is going to have to go to Ragnarok. But, you know, Opti put up a great fight. Even now,
Nice save.
still trying to put in a tight shot on the goal line, but it is not good. And that'll be
GG's.
a winner. Going to Ragnarok. Still a good game. Opti, especially near the end there, put up a really good fight. I think definitely the biggest weakness we saw there from Opti was just that kickoff strategy. Ragnarok seemed to just have a better kickoff strategy there.
That's true. If you remove the 2 kickoff goals, I think it's a 3-2 game.
Yeah, that
Which-
would have been
yeah.
much
Yeah.
closer. Like
That was my
definitely-
perception.
Yeah.
Was that this game felt like it could have been a lot closer. Yeah, if you just remove those kickoff goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Still, Ragnarok wins, and it's a deserved win. So we'll be moving up the bracket. Next matchup is going to be Ripple versus Necto.
Ooh, this will be fun.
Yeah, this should be good. Now, Ripple has been updated. I'm excited to see how this goes. Ripple has been training long and hard over the past several weeks. We've been looking at version 0.11, and this is the newest version that's been training this whole time, 0.12. So I'm very excited to see how this goes.
Wow, this will be fun. I love Ripple. Ripple is so interesting to me because it feels like you can see a little bit of like SSL player instincts in it. It feels more like a player than it does like a traditional machine learning bot. But because of that, I almost feel like it's more inconsistent. which is interesting to me. Like I remember seeing it could have been just bubble sort being bubble sort because we had first to 4, but when we had like that 1 week where Ripple fell and then Ripple went back up, right? Is that what happened?
Yeah,
That
there
was
were
so
1
interesting
week
to me.
where Ripple just lost 4 matches in a row, and Rolv said it was some kind of bug that was snuck in.
Oh,
But
right.
definitely
I
not a
forgot
good
about that
week
part.
for Ripple. And then I don't know, he fixed it, and then it just went all the way back to second place or whatever it was. It was so strong suddenly. So he
Yeah.
definitely found his strength again after that bug fix.
Well,
I'm
we're gonna
most
see.
interested this week in seeing Ripple and Nexto play because we talked about it somewhat before, Rolv and I. And Rolv, I know, is doing a new kickoff strategy. He's trying out an interesting idea, so I'm really excited to see how it
Ooh,
goes.
that's interesting. I know that Nexto is
Well,
probably the one who's implementing that strategy, I'm guessing, but is Ripple also implementing that strategy? They're both his bot.
Yep, it'll be in both Nexto and Ripple.
Ah,
so is this a
interesting.
machine learning approach, or is it something he's hard coding? Do you
Well,
know
it's
that?
I'm not going to give away the secret
I want to
sauce. I
see
don't
it.
think
Yeah,
you'd
let's see
appreciate
it.
it,
okay.
but it's. I think we'll just have to take a look.
And so we will. Here we go. Start of the match.
Well,
Nexto
Kickoff,
does
going
win
in
with the
kickoff there.
kickoff. Getting in favor of
Ripple,
Nexto.
though.
Ripple trying to
Up fast for
clear
the
it
clear.
out. Nexto putting on some more shots. Not quite there. Now Ripple going on the wall. Getting it clear.
Not quite the most powerful clear. Necto, oh, that's not a good touch. Passes it directly to Ripple, and a quick...
Oh.
Oh, what a save!
Good reaction.
Good save by Necto. A double touch, but it's not on. Ripple just too quick, putting on too much pressure. Ripple almost with the shot. It's above Necto's net. Necto... Whoa, okay.
Oh,
Almost a
so
shot on net.
close.
Ripple just can't quite get this in. Oh, what a breakaway. But looks like
The
Ripple's going to turn that
accidental
one
pinch
around.
there from Necto, sending it down back into the blue half, but Ripple will quickly convert that back into possession, sending the ball straight into the orange half, where it belongs apparently. We've been nearly a minute in now, and 90% of this game we've had the ball on Necto's side of the field. Necto just does not seem to be able to get it clear. Ripple with a good shot, but you know what? Necto has been there for the defense. Ripple pinching it off the wall to get it back towards the orange net. Not quite able to sink the follow-up. Does steal the boost, though. So Necto looking pretty boost-starved here. Ripple off the wall, in the air. Unfortunately, doesn't make good contact, and Necto gets the dribble, trying to send it back down to the blue field to get some pressure onto Ripple.
Oh,
Yeah, the clear is not good. Necto managed to send it
save.
right across the goal line, but no one to follow up the shot. Ripple now taking it back down to the orange half. A shot. Necto is there to save. Now converts
Whoa.
into a counterattack, but Ripple was there at the midline. Good positioning from Ripple to save that shot. Necto off the wall, pass to itself. Ripple managed to get a 50 in the midfield. Trying to keep it in the orange half, but Necto sending it back down to the blue. Here we have Ripple going up in the air for a quick double touch. One demo, a classic Ripple demo. We see these all the time. Now a good flick over the top of one Necto. Excuse me. Second Necto goes up in the air, sending it far, but Ripple is there to meet it. Things are looking pretty even so far. Ripple now off the wall, bouncing it off the ground, but Necto is there. One demo. Ripple now trying to go up for a follow, but doesn't quite manage to get the angle. Sending into the corner. Necto now with the ball on top. Ripple with a backflip straight towards the net. Necto will catch it. Ripple with the 50. Going into the corner here. Bouncing it off the wall. Trying to set up a shot. Has no boost as the teammate went for the demo and the boost grab. Necto now doesn't get a good flick over the top. Ripple trying to intervene. Does get the ball over the top of both Nectos, and a quick follow-up. We'll send the shot towards the net. Is it in? It's just barely in. Straight off the bottom right corner. Finally, we'll get 1-0 in favor of Ripple.
That was tense as hell. That Ripple shot, it was a perfect breakaway, but Ripple wasn't going to be able to get that in time if it wasn't in. But it barely snuck in bottom right corner. Let's see if the kickoff this time ends up in favor of Ripple. Ooh, actually, pretty good.
Ripple does get an early possession, converts it into a shot. Necto is there for the save, though. I will say Necto's defense has been really good so far against Ripple.
Yeah, Ripple has not been able to penetrate the defense very often, except for that one breakaway opportunity, which it was, Necto wasn't back in that scenario. So Ripple, ooh, but a nice outplay there.
Another one.
Get an open net. Feels like Ripple has mostly been able to break away through the defense at the midfield, not really being able to penetrate it when the Nectos are in net. Necto just overcommitting a little too hard there, and no one was back, and it was just an open net.
Yeah, as good as Necto's defense has been, it does seem pretty clear that Ripple is pretty much faster than Necto on almost all of these plays. Ripple is grabbing the boost, getting the demos, going up in the air,
Ooh.
always to the ball faster, just like that, catching Necto out of position. It seems like this is pretty clean cut here. Ripple is convincingly beating Necto here.
Necto, with not the best hit there, did make contact, obviously, but hitting it straight up put the ball in a perfect opportunity for Ripple to send it straight into the net. Ooh, actually, Necto kind of winning this kickoff if Necto can get there first. But Ripple gets there, keeps possession, but Necto quickly counters and sends it back into Ripple's half. A 50 in the midfield, no one's there. Ripple's now taking possession. The other Ripple takes a shot. Necto barely getting the recovery in time. Ripple sending it center. Looks like this could be a shot opportunity, but ooh, couldn't quite get it in. Necto with an opportunity here to send it onto Ripple's half. Ripple a little awkward. Looks like Ripple trying to get it past the Nectos, who are a little bit far up, but no boost. It's center now. Ripple can take the possession. Necto with a quick 50 in the midfield. A nice demo, breakaway opportunity.
The
Two
double
demos.
Demos, yeah.
But the other Ripple could not miss the shot. Ooh, manages to flick it past one. Ripple taking it back to its own half. This is a little dangerous. Hits it down. Necto trying to turn around, but Ripple with a quick hit off the wall. Almost gets it over Necto, but Necto with a good shot, and Ripple with a save. Necto, ooh, missing that ball. This could be an opportunity, but Necto with a nice save on the back foot there. Ripple hitting it past one Necto, but the other one takes a quick shot. Ooh, Necto, another opportunity. Ripple manages to 50. Demo. Ripple maybe with an opportunity here, but Necto's got boost and the ball. Ripple taking a shot. Necto with a save. Taking the boost. Going to wait a little bit. Oh, but Ripple a little bit of a double commit there. Necto
Clock is
hits
ticking
it
down
past.
now. 6 seconds on the clock.
I think
Ball
Ripple has
high
this
in the
one.
air. Yeah, it seems like Ripple's going to win this one. 0 seconds on the clock, just trying to keep it up. Ball hits the ground, and that'll be 3-0 in favor of Ripple. Now, I will say that was a good game, a lot closer than I thought it would be. Necto was able to keep up surprisingly well with Ripple. But again, I think, like I was saying earlier, it seems like Ripple was pretty much faster than Necto to almost every situation. Ripple not quite able to convert some of the shots it should have had, but you know what? In Necto's defense, it had some really good saves. So that was a good game.
Yeah, a nice clean 7 saves from Necto. Basically prevented this game from being more of a shutdown from Ripple. Ripple did get quite a lot of pressure, and I think Ripple could have gotten quite a few more goals if Necto just wasn't so good at saving all of them. But I definitely think Necto could have gotten a goal in there as well, because Necto had some good opportunities, but Ripple wasn't on the defensive end very often. Ripple was just really good at turning that around and keeping the pressure on.
And we can see here just how many shots Ripple took. We had 14 shots from Ripple. I mean, that's just... Wow. This guy was just sending shots in left and right that whole game. Necto trapped in its back corner. That will be, unfortunately, the end for Necto, going down into the lower bracket. Now, up next, we have Nexto. Sorry, the lower bracket. Next, we have Nexto versus Opti hard-coded. So Nexto, the successor to Necto, of course. And this should be a good game. Nexto, as well as Ripple, has the new kickoff strategy that Rolv has been working on.
Has Opti hard-coded been updated?
Yes, Opti hard-coded has also been updated.
Ooh.
So
I'm curious to see if we see any differences in the hard-coded strategy here.
Yeah, this should be good. I don't know what changes Kaiyotech has made to Opti hard-coded, but I know he's been hard at work on it. So I'm excited to see how it fares against Nexto.
This is third seed versus 6th seed, I think. Yeah, because Ripple was second and Nexto was third. Which is crazy to me, by the way, that Nexto was the 3rd seed. Actually insane.
Yeah. Yeah, ML bots have really come a long way. But here we go, getting into the match now. We have the first kickoff going convincingly in Nexto's favor, unfortunately, as Opti just did not make it to the ball there. Let's see, I'm not even sure what happened. Nexto goes for a speed flip, and Opti seems to just be driving at the ball. Unfortunately, that is not going to be fast enough. Nexto with a quick kickoff goal, 1-0 now.
Looks like it didn't do a normal kickoff. It just started driving. Okay, here we go. That's what we expect to see. A kickoff win from hard-coded, but Nexto just, it's rolling towards Nexto very slowly, and perfect opportunity here. Opti taking the ball, keeping
Bumping
possession.
itself out of the way. We have a little bit of team interference, but Opti will manage to get the possession. Goes for a flick, an incredibly high flick straight over the top of Nexto. Tries to go for the follow-up, but Nexto is there to clear. Now Nexto has the ball on its hood, and well, we've seen this 1,000 times. Although, of course, as soon as I say that, Nexto actually flubs the flick, a very rare whiff. Unfortunately, not able to get a good flick over the top. Opti will now try to send the ball downfield. Nexto is there waiting. Maybe going for a clear. Does catch the ball on the hood. Opts for a dribble downfield. Opti giving Nexto a lot of respect as Nexto dribbles it. Down the field, flick over the top of one. Nexto there for the follow-up, but can't get a good touchdown. Opti now for a 50 on the goal line. Does not manage to get a good clear, and Nexto can't sink the follow-up. Opti now with an opportunity for possession. Tries to go up, but is beaten there by Nexto. A 50, sending the ball straight across the field. Still in the orange half. Opti now maybe has a chance to go for it, but just does not jump in the air. Nexto with an incredibly high shot. Not quite on target, giving Opti an opportunity to go for a flick now, but Nexto saves those all day. Nexto, known for its flicks, it does those a ton in training, so I'm not sure how well that strategy is going to work. And here we see, this is exactly what I'm talking about, the unbelievable power that Nexto manages to generate with these flicks. 100 kilometers an hour from such a slow start. Look at that, right on the goal line. An incredible flick from Nexto. 2-0 now.
You see how he did that flick? He started rolling forward and then flipped when it was almost 90 degrees forward. It was kind of very interesting flick, but it was perfect just under the crossbar, 100 kilometers per hour. Opti kept a good fight on, though, during that. Got some good opportunities, but just their flicks weren't good enough. Nexto, putting on pressure here.
Nexto, the king of flicks.
Opti has possession, flicks, but Nexto, a nice block, and sends it back down. Opti with a nice save. Looks like this is probably going to be Nexto's possession. Very little boost, but just hits it off the wall, beating one of them. This could be a shot opportunity, but Opti saves it. Nexto, going to try to center this, or just take the shot, but it's a little too fast. Opti with the opportunity here. Maybe a flick. Oh, nope. Nexto interrupts. It looks like Nexto gets it just over Opti, as Opti demos the Nexto. Nexto, almost getting that shot in, but not quite. Opti hitting it a little too far, but maybe actually perfect. Almost a perfect flick into the net. Nexto with a very good opportunity here. Not the best flick, and Opti saves it. Looks like Nexto with a quick demo shoots. Opti a little awkward here, but nice hit prevents Nexto from sinking it. Nexto almost getting that shot, but not quite. Opti with possession. Good flick.
Flick over the top. Does make it past one Nexto, but the other one is in the air. Ready to clear it downfield, straight into the waiting arms of Opti, who flicks it over the top again of one, but that's a replay of what we just saw on the Nexto goal line. Over the top of one, and the second Nexto's in the air for the follow-up. Now we have Opti going for a flick on the net, but it's pretty slow, so Nexto will save it. Now ball in the possession of Nexto, who opts to send it downfield with a quick hit into the corner. Opti is there, going for the clear, a 50 in the midfield now. Nexto about to take it up the wall. Doesn't quite have a good position here. Manages to bump it off the corner, but Nexto with some awkward touches is managing to bring the ball down the field. Opti gets a good 50, sending it back towards the midfield, where we will have Opti going in for another flick now. Unfortunately, saved by Nexto. Nexto now trying to set up a dribble, gets the ball on the hood, and over the top of one. Opti, however, ready for the follow-up on the goal line there. 50 in the corner. Nexto off the wall, tries to go for a quick shot, but crossbar and out, however, right into the waiting arms of its teammate. The second Nexto does follow it up, and we have 3-0 now in favor of Nexto.
This is crazy how close this game is. Nexto and Opti, I feel like, have very similar play styles, where they always want to try to keep possession in their favor and hold on to the ball, dribble it and flick it. It's giving both of them a lot of opportunities, but Nexto is just better able to convert those into goals. As Nexto turns it around, Opti with a little bit of an awkward touch up on the wall, and the other Opti decides not to turn around for it till the last second, and gets a good block, to be fair.
It was a really good follow-up hit there from Opti.
Ooh.
Now with a chance on a shot downfield, doesn't quite get the power. Nexto clearing it into the sidewall, catches the ball on the hood. Here we have another opportunity for a flick. Doesn't quite manage to even get it over the top of one as Opti intercepts, but Nexto is there. Good save from the Opti on the goal line. Now Opti bouncing off the wall in the midfield.
With possession. Looks
Catches
like
the
a
ball,
good
goes
flick.
for a flick.
No, not quite in. Nexto, probably with a good shot opportunity here. Opti manages to get back in time. A quick demo means that Nexto might have just one player to beat and a perfect flick, but Opti respawns in time and gets the save.
What an incredible save on the goal line there by Opti. That was probably a low boost save too. I didn't see if it got the boost first. But now Nexto over the top of one, goes for the follow-up. A 50 in midair, sends the ball just straight down. Nexto there for the follow-up, gets a nice goal. And it seems like Nexto's going to take this game.
Other Opti's just overcommitted way too hard. The first Opti was only the one back and manages to block it, but the other one, it just went straight down to the other Nexto. 9 seconds. Let's see if Opti can get one goal. I feel like it's very possible, but with only 6 seconds, I don't think it's going to happen. Nexto getting it center. Actually, another goal for Nexto as it sinks one more in. 5-0.
It was a nice little angle from Nexto. Popped it off the wall. Goes for the double jump aerial follow-up.
Perfectly calculated. I don't mean that in the way that Rocket League players mean calculated. I mean actually calculated, like very precise. Yeah. Very close game, though. Opti with a lot of saves, but you see Nexto also had quite a bit of saves. Oh, wow. That's actually crazy, though. Nexto with 20 shots to Opti's 5.
Yeah, you know, we've seen this time and time again with Nexto. Nexto is just ruthless with these shots. It just takes shot after shot after shot. It's so hard to deal with Nexto's offense. And you can see that here with the 20 shots, only 5 saves. And of course, Opti collectively got only 5 shots. So that's the aggressive nature of Nexto's playstyle for you.
It's interesting because Opti, I feel like, had a lot of opportunities where it got possession and had an opportunity to flick it over Nexto onto net, but I think it was because Nexto interrupted it a lot earlier that a lot of those actually weren't even shots. They were interrupted almost at the midfield, versus Nexto was able to get a lot more flicks over at least one Opti and keep the pressure near the net, which meant a lot more shots getting closer into the net and just more of them converting.
Yeah. But that'll be the last game in the upper bracket here. Now moving on into the first game in the finals bracket, or the lower bracket, excuse me, will be Vulcan versus Opti-GP.
This will be fun. I think Vulcan... I don't know. I think this will be interesting because both of these bots have been updated. Vulcan didn't look bad in its Seer match. Just Seer was just, you know, levels above.
Yeah, Vulcan. The problem is that Seer will make any opponent look bad, right? I think Vulcan was looking really good, so I'm excited to see how this goes.
I think this will be interesting because seeing Opti hard-coded in that last match made me realize, and to be fair, hard-code is different than GP, but made me realize how similar Opti's playstyle is kind of to Nexto. And Vulcan seems like it goes for a lot more shots like that. And I don't know how those two playstyles will go against each other.
Vulcan. Well, we're about to find out here as Vulcan clears the ball down into the orange half, rolling up the corner here. Now Opti going for a clear, gets possession, sends the ball off the wall for a catch into a flick, but Vulcan is there for a really nice high clear onto the mid wall here. Opti trying to catch the ball to go for a flick over the top, but Vulcan interrupts it. Second Opti now with a really high pop off the top of its car to send the ball into the midfield. Now Opti catching the ball, going to set up a dribble here. We'll see hopefully a flick coming in, and wow, Opti just catches the ball with incredible precision here and pops it right into the net. Vulcan there trying to defend, but the air dribble bump coming in.
Yeah, air dribble bump pretty much. Vulcan was in a really awkward spot, and was not ready to challenge. And I think Opti just realized that Vulcan wasn't going to be going for the ball and just decided, I'm not even going to flick. I'm just going to drive and then jump. And it worked.
Opti attaching the plow to the front of the car, just driving the ball in there.
Vulcan giving away the ball. Opti has possession here. This could be another flick opportunity. Oh, almost in, but Opti manages to capitalize after the first Opti flicks it, and Vulcan couldn't get the block. A demo coming through, and Vulcan just couldn't save it in time. Good shot. Vulcan almost getting that save.
With a demo, you know, an accidental demo, I think, there, as Opti tried to fly it over the top. But the second Opti was there for a good follow-up. Now, kickoff going in favor of Opti, but Vulcan will catch it, trying to bring it downfield, takes it up the wall with a really nice carry.
Whoa.
Not quite able to make contact on the ball to send it down for the teammate. But that was an impressive carry around the wall. Opti now going for a brutal flick. Look at that. What an incredible shot. Unfortunately, it was crossbar and out, but still really good form on that flick there. Vulcan now we can see going for basically the same play as last time. Not sure what the strategy is here. Just sort of flicking it around the orange goal. Opti now has an opportunity and does sink a shot at the near post. Not the best strategy from Vulcan, but you know what? It did have some pretty good control on the wall.
Vulcan needed to challenge that earlier, but it was interesting seeing Vulcan go for that dribble play on the wall and then the flip afterwards. It reminded me of Ragnarok, actually, just not as far back, so it couldn't actually get an angle on net. Vulcan with a good opportunity, but gives away possession. Opti quickly takes it, but Vulcan quickly takes it back. Vulcan with another dribble opportunity here, doing the same play again. Gonna try to drop it down to its teammate, but its teammate isn't there. Instead, Opti takes possession, and this is gonna be a very similar play, but oh, it's off the crossbar, but Opti is there to finish it off. A good play there. Again, Opti realizing that Vulcan was in an awkward spot, decided to wait to jump until the last second. It went off the crossbar, but the other Opti was there to finish it up. Let's see the kickoff here.
Now, kickoff going in favor of blue. But Opti will take possession. Ball just kind of bouncing in the midfield. Opti gets the flick over the top of one towards the blue net. Another follow-up tap, but doesn't quite manage to sink the shot. Here, Vulcan now with an opportunity. Doesn't quite get a good hit. Unfortunately, just sends it straight to Opti, who will pass it to the second Opti, waiting at the midfield into a catch. Now dribbling the ball down, a flick over the top of one off the crossbar. Second Opti isn't there for the follow-up, so Vulcan has an opportunity to counterattack now. We'll catch the ball and bring it up the wall again. Gets a little flick up the top. Does bounce it off the ceiling, but unfortunately, there's no follow-up there, and Opti will capitalize on that mistake and sink another shot on the near post. 5-0 in favor of Opti.
That Vulcan play is very risky. One goes off the wall and tries to center it, while the other one immediately jumped for it. The Vulcan that was on the wall obviously wasn't going to get back in time, and the other Vulcan was beat to the ball. So both of them hard overcommitted, and Opti just needed to, dribble it into the net. Well, in that case, it shot it, but it was pretty easy to counterattack that. I don't know if Vulcan should continue to try this play, but it looks like instead it hits it off the wall high, but Opti quickly counters. Vulcan tries to center it, but Opti is there, sends it down. Vulcan's a little awkward. Opti beats it to the ball. This could be an opportunity for the other Opti to come in, but instead Vulcan tries to take possession, but Opti interrupts. But now Vulcan has a lot of time, but is doing some interesting plays. Both Vulcans trying to catch the ball and do the same technique. Vulcan going on the wall again, sends it across. The other Vulcan is not there, and Opti just takes possession. Now there's only one Vulcan back.
Might be a repeat of the last time. The flick is not good, though, unfortunately. Vulcan with a counterattack shot, but Opti was there for the save. Now Vulcan, another opportunity. Doesn't quite make good contact with the ball as Opti beats it to the 50. Now Opti catching the ball once again, dribbling the ball down the field. Goes for the high shot over the top of one. Not quite in. Oh, but Opti is there for the follow-up. Vulcan just could not manage to get there in time. This was a really good initial shot. I thought this was going to go in. From the first Opti, that flick over the top was very impressive. Bar down and out, but Opti was there for the follow-up, so that'll be 6-0 now.
Vulcan just not quite able to handle itself perfectly on defense. It just can't quite get the touches that it needs to keep the ball away from its net. And also, it doesn't help that it keeps overcommitting. Opti hitting it. The other Vulcan is in a very awkward spot. Wow, what an interesting play. Manages to actually 50 the Opti that comes in. Both Vulcans are trying the same play. I don't think it's going to work. They both decide to quit because, yeah, that was not a great play. They both go with the same rotation. Vulcan interrupts it perfectly, but Opti's just there to clean it up.
That was a clean shot as well by Opti. We have the first Opti dribbling the ball down the field, tries to go over the top of one, gets the demo, and the second Opti just so fast in the air for a follow-up, sinking that 7-0 lead.
Vulcan, the one that was back, didn't have any boost because it followed its other teammate towards the back boost, and it just could not save that. Vulcan has a boost for that, but misses the aerial, or, well, doesn't miss it, it hits it, but it doesn't go anywhere. And
an unfortunate series of events here. Vulcan trying to get the save, does not manage to get contact for the clear, and Opti just sort of catches the ball and bounces it right into the net. That was
it really wanted to hit it hard. It was boosting so hard, and then just went right underneath the ball. Went way too fast. Opti, ooh, a shot. It's a little off. Vulcan, a little awkward here again, but a good hit. Both of them kind of commit there, but Opti decides not to turn, but the other one comes in. A good opportunity here. Can it sink it? No. Vulcan with a good interrupt. Opti a little awkward there. Only one is back, but actually Vulcan decides not to go straight towards the net. Instead, it goes back to the corner. Sends it high. Opti with a catch. This could be another opportunity for Opti. Can Opti make it 9-0? Ooh, almost, but not quite. Opti with the decisive victory over Vulcan, 8-0. GG. 18 shots, oh my. Opti with just so much pressure. Only 3 shots from Vulcan here. Not very many saves from either of them, actually. That's kind of interesting. Opti just putting on too much pressure. Vulcan always going for that one play where it went up on the wall and didn't get actually any shot opportunities from it. Tried to center, but couldn't actually get it close to the net. Vulcan's still pretty solid, though, but it was interesting seeing it do that play. I don't know if I've seen it do that before. But anyways, very good game. Now the next match is going to be Necto versus Opti hard-coded. This will be a fun match. Necto, you know, performed very well in its match against Ripple. Playing very well defensively and, frankly, got some good opportunities offensively as well. Opti hard-coded will probably put up a pretty good fight and probably be able to beat it, but I think Necto might be able to get some opportunities and at least be able to defend some shots that hard-coded sends its way. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm actually very impressed with the hard-coded selector that KO has made. It plays very, very well. I mean, even though it lost to Nexto previously, it still looked like a really solid button, and it has been for some time now. So I'm not sure what kind of magic he's been putting in, but it's the correct if statements, that's for sure.
Wasn't hard-coded yesterday, what's ML hard-coded? Yeah, so Opti hard-coded is a hybrid. Yeah, it's mainly machine learning. It's been training as Opti with many different, like, sub-neural networks, kind of, sub-goals, effectively, that these different networks have. So there's, like, one for dribbling, one for flip resetting, and stuff like that. And we have a hard-coded selector that selects from those different options that it can use. So that's the hard-coded part. It's still mainly machine learning, which is why it's in this bracket.
Yeah, the dream were there should be another one of these sub-models which would then pick which model to use, but that one was never really finished. It didn't really plan out as it should have, so he decided to in the end make a split it in two, have one for the general play and then make a hard-coded selector which then replaces this one.
I wish we could see which what are they called? Submodel
Yeah,
that
submodel.
hard-coded is using. I would be really curious to see. Because I have a feeling it's using general play a lot, but I want to know how many times it switches to, I don't know, rotating back or say, like, I don't know exactly what all the submodels are, but I don't know. I would be curious to see that at some point. Necto actually getting possession off kickoff, a good opportunity here. Opti with the quick save and beats Necto to the ball. This could be a good opportunity. I don't know if Necto's back. Is barely back in time. Manages to flick it. Opti trying to get back. The other Opti sends a shot on, but not quite on net, and Necto saves it anyway. Necto with a good clear downfield. Opti going to take this, hit it off the corner. Necto's there. And a perfect shot. Opti not able to save that. Great
What
angle.
a nice little touch here by Necto from the corner. Bounces it off the wall. Second Necto is there for a quick follow-up and a really tight angle shot here. You know, it was a little slow, but it was very, very nicely shot there by Necto. Opti not quite able to get back in time and get a clear. Now, 1-0 in favor of Necto. Opti going for the kickoff. Doesn't manage to get the boost steal, but it was actually pretty close on the corner boost there from Necto. Necto going high, lobs the ball into the midfield. Now up in the air again for a follow-up. Opti perfectly happy to just let the ball kind of do its thing. Necto is just sending boost into the air to hit the ball away. Now Necto with possession. Gets a flick, tries to go over the top, but Opti is there with a good save. Now ball in the midfield. Opti clears it down. Necto pretty low on boost here in the corner. Doesn't opt to go for the boost. Opti with a 50. Necto now trying to regain possession here. Does manage to get a breakaway. Driving the ball straight down the field towards the orange half, and Opti, oh no. Opti tries to go for the 50, but Necto just let the ball off its hood and sort of just kind of stood there, acting as almost like a wall, as Opti tries to clear the ball away, and Necto just barrels it through. 2-0 now in favor of Necto.
I wonder if it saw that Opti was at a bad angle for that 50 and decided to purposefully let the ball in front of its car to do the 50, or if it just, you know, the ball could have just rolled off because Necto could catch up to it. I couldn't quite tell.
Yeah.
A good shot there, but Necto, quick counter and an open net. The other Opti just not back in time. 3-0. This is not how I had thought this game would turn out.
Yeah,
Opti.
Necto is just finding ways to get Opti out of position and capitalize on those mistakes, it seems. I don't think these bots are as different as the scoreline might make it seem, but it's just that Necto is finding all these little opportunities to get around Opti.
Necto's just, very good at these counters as Opti tries to hit it, and the other Opti doesn't think that there's any possibility that Necto's going to get a good hit off of it. But Necto instantly counters, and then they're both forward, and there's no opportunity for them to save it. Necto with another opportunity here, but Opti now with a good shot.
There you go. Now we know. I was just waiting for one of these to come out. We know Opti's capable of doing these kinds of shots. Gets a great 50 in its own half, sending the ball down to the midfield, and manages to beat Necto in the air for a quick follow-up right over the top. Sinking the first goal for Opti. 3-1 now, 3 minutes left on the clock. I mean, this is definitely possible if Opti can just manage to stop making these little mistakes that give Necto breakaways like this. A great shot opportunity by Necto. Does send it on goal, but Opti is there now. Ball in the midfield, but Necto will pop it back towards the orange goal. Necto with a little awkward touch. Opti with an opportunity to clear it. Does get a really good hit down the field. Necto is behind Opti. This is a shot opportunity, and Necto, oh no. Necto mirroring that own goal from Vulcan in the first game. Does try to get the clear, but unfortunately the angle is not good. Yeah,
look at that.
Very impressive shot, I will say. Good goal. Necto, unfortunately, just on the wrong net.
Not quite. Yeah, exactly how Necto wanted that to turn out. Opti had a very good opportunity there anyways, but Necto probably could have cleared it away. But, you know, just pinched in. Well, not quite pinch. It was just a really awkward and unfortunate angle. Necto turns that around, but Opti's right there. Almost a double touch, but not quite. Necto with the opportunity here, but Opti's back. Ooh, but actually Necto beats Opti to the aerial. But Opti with a nice flick there means it's just a 1v1. And Necto, I don't know what Necto was doing, but it had a poor recovery there, was jumping around. I don't know. Opti just sends it straight in, and Necto can't save it.
And look at that. We're all tied up not even a minute after the first goal that Opti scored. You know,
Necto
Opti just
feeling
needed to
nervous.
get its head in the game. You know, it was a little out of it. It's just been warming up. Now, 3-3. We've got 2 minutes 19 on the clock here. Kickoff going in favor of Necto. Opti decides not to go up the wall. Necto will follow it. Gets a bounce off the wall over the hood, but doesn't manage to sink the shot. Although a great follow-up. Opti with insane defense, though. Manages to keep out 2 or 3 shots there. I'm not sure. Necto now in the corner, tries to bounce it high towards the midfield, but doesn't get a good touch. Opti over the top of 1 and 2. Shot is not good. Opti trying to drive it down the field, but Necto with a good breakaway, and Opti with the incredible recovery.
God.
Oh my god.
That
Opti
was
just
crazy.
is skidding down the field, doing almost a wheelie to save that shot. Necto now, unfortunately, after all that effort, Necto with the ball in its hood just gets the flick over the top of 1. The second defender is not there, and Necto is able to follow it up. 4-3 now in favor of Necto. What a play.
That was crazy. Opti with that save was just skidding across the field with the ball and managed to get just the right touches to keep it away from the net, but Necto just able to sink it in afterwards. Oh, what a powerful shot.
Incredible power, but Necto was there.
This could be a good shot opportunity. But Opti's got the save. Opti now not able to get the possession. Necto gives it away, though, and jumps, but manages to miss. Opti with a good opportunity here, but Necto with a backward save. Necto now has possession in the corner. Sends it a little too far forward. Looks like it's going to be a 50. And Opti 50s it into the corner. Necto heading back. Opti going to beat Necto to the ball there. Just one Necto back. Opti going to let Necto hit that. Now the other Opti comes in, misses the ball. But Opti, just hits it all right off the corner. Necto thought with the awkwardness, maybe I should go up. But that was the wrong time to go up, as the other Opti just comes right in, hits it off the corner, and shoots it right into the net. 4-4.
Yeah, both Nectos just a little bit confused on the positioning there, I think. Caught each other both in the corner. Neither of them was back. Opti managed to get a touch over the top, and that sent it into the net. But now we have kickoff going in favor of Necto. No boost in the orange corner. Does manage to snag the corner boost. Gets a good 50 to pot the ball high. Unfortunately, the other Necto is kind of crowding in on the teammate, giving Opti an opportunity to send it over the top of both. Gets a reasonable shot down the field, but Necto was able to recover in time. Now Necto sending the ball back into the orange half. Over the top of one Opti. Second Opti is there for a clear. Necto with a 50 at the midfield does bounce the ball high back into the orange corner. Tries to send a shot towards the net, but Opti is there for another clear. Necto doesn't seem to be able to get past the defense. Necto now, another shot bouncing off the wall in the corner. Opti with a catchy flick. Really good clear, sending the ball into the midfield. Catches the ball again off its own flick. Opti now with an opportunity, but Necto is there for the 50. Second Opti with the follow-up. Doesn't make it in, but the other, again, the third Opti almost here, going in for a shot, does manage to sink the goal. We have one opportunity missed, another opportunity, a good setup, and then finally we have a follow-up that does manage to make it past both of the Nectos, and we are fortified with 1 second left. This touch will be the end of the game here. Can Necto pull it off? No, the ball does not go in its favor, touches the ground, and Opti pulling it out over Necto with a 1-goal lead right at the last second.
What a crazy ending to that game. Opti just getting the perfect opportunity it needed, and Necto was so close to the save. The backflip save almost came through, but just missed it by an inch. And Opti takes the win. You can see Necto actually had more pressure. Opti had more saves. Actually, no. It's interesting. Necto had less saves, but they had about equal shots, which is interesting to me. I guess Necto's shots were closer to the net than Opti's shots were. It's interesting. But yeah, 7 saves coming through from Opti.
Worth noting, Necto actually, a couple years back, was the champion, the best bot in RLBot.
Yep.
Winning the 1v1 title for Rolv and Soren. Necto did not win a single game here in this tournament. Necto got immediately knocked down to the lower bracket and then lost its next match. So bots have really come very far in even just the past year. This is really impressive to see.
I mean, I totally agree with you there when it comes to how much they've improved, but I'm actually surprised given how good I know these other bots are, that Necto held up such a good fight. Only keeping the goal line 3-0 against Ripple and almost beating out Opti hard-coded in that last game. I'm very impressed, but still, second one out apart from Vulcan in this tournament. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. Okay, next up we have another Seer game. This should be very exciting. We have Seer versus Ragnarok. I can't wait to watch this.
This will be fun. I love seeing Ragnarok play against all these different bots, see how those bots handle its playstyle. Seer, have we seen? I don't know if we've seen this match. I think maybe we haven't, because I think Ragnarok lost to what, Nexto in Bubble Sort and never got all the way up to Seer. Regardless, I'm excited to see this.
Yeah. I think the thing about Ragnarok is its playstyle is, you know, it's really interesting, it's really cool to watch, but the thing is, if you can manage to, you know, not let Ragnarok set up those kinds of up the wall in its own corner flicks, or if you can defend those really high aerial shots, then Ragnarok kind of, you know, it kind of falls apart. I think we saw that a little with Nexto in that matchup when Ragnarok was just kind of getting outclassed and didn't seem to have an opportunity to set up its playstyle, but we'll see. This should be interesting. I'm really excited to go into this game.
If you're gonna lose with style. Wise words by Wrangler.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, very nice car design.
Yeah, coming into the game now, we have the first kickoff. Ragnarok with a bit of a delayed kickoff there. Even manages to get the ball to its teammate somehow.
What an interesting angle for the kickoff.
Yeah, Seer off the wall, getting it clear towards the orange half. Ragnarok will catch it and bring the ball up into its own corner like we've seen so many times before. No boost for the follow-up, but a really nice flip from the ceiling. Seer now clearing the ball into the orange corner. Up in the air, goes for a tap just to make it a little awkward, but Ragnarok is there. Second Ragnarok catches the ball. Seer with the 50. Ragnarok now sending the ball into the midfield over the top of one Seer. Second Seer is there, able to catch up, but that was pretty close. Seer now the one taking the ball at the wall instead of Ragnarok, but Ragnarok is there. Seer doesn't make the best touch. Ragnarok flicking it down towards the midfield. Second Ragnarok isn't quite there for the follow-up, and Seer does manage to capitalize. Ragnarok just not fast enough there. 1-0 now in favor of Seer.
Seer just a little quicker on that aerial. Ragnarok almost had the follow-up after the other Ragnarok on the wall didn't have the greatest flick, but Seer just barely getting that over. If Seer had been a little lower, Ragnarok could have had an open net there, but just perfectly high, perfectly beat Ragnarok as Ragnarok clears it super far, but the Seer is all the way back.
Downfield.
Not Ragnarok. Seer with an amazing follow-up after that. Just had so much boost in the tank, saved it all up in goal, cleared it, and immediately followed it up. Ragnarok was not ready for that.
Yeah, that was a really good defensive clear into a follow-up from Seer. That's a pretty classic bit of Rocket League that we saw there. Ragnarok sent a really long goal downfield, or a really long shot downfield. Seer just kind of popped it up, banged it right down the opposite side of the field, followed it up in the air for a quick goal. Now we have 2-0 in favor of Seer, about to make it 3-0. Nope, not quite. Ragnarok able to defend the slow shot on the goal line. Ragnarok with an opportunity here, goes up, pops the ball in the air, but Seer is there for the 50. Now, Seer with an opportunity, tries to flick it over the top, but Ragnarok actually catches Seer. Now, Ragnarok flicking it off the wall in patented Ragnarok fashion. Second Ragnarok isn't there for a good follow-up. Now, ball in the orange corner. Ragnarok manages to hit it wide into the midfield to a safer spot, but Seer is there. Seer now sending it back into the orange corner, trying to get an opportunity for itself, but Ragnarok won't let that happen. Seer over the top of one. Ragnarok is there. Tries to go for the second touch here, but doesn't quite make it. Now we have Ragnarok taking it back into its own corner here. Like we see it do so many times, it's just carrying the ball up the wall. Unfortunately, this strategy isn't going to work too well against Seer, who was there. But Ragnarok manages to clear it again back over the opposite side of its net. Goes for a flick off the wall, doesn't quite make contact, and Seer with a good clear, but Ragnarok is there. I will say the defense from Ragnarok is astounding right now.
Ragnarok.
And a really good pinch, and oh wow,
good shot.
The 50 almost on the ceiling in Ragnarok's corner, sending the ball all the way down the field. Somehow, look at this. Why is this other Ragnarok here? How did it know?
That's crazy, the confidence. That's crazy, the confidence that decided to go all the way upfield when the other Ragnarok had possession. It was like, yeah, he's passing to me.
Yeah.
I know
that's the confidence I wish my teammates would have in me sometimes.
But that's just a good cut. The BM. 100 boost could have shot that so much faster, but instead, just no boost.
You know what?
amazing.
I wonder if that's because Seer knows about the whole game instead of just scoring a goal. Maybe it
Yeah,
purposefully slowed that shot down to run down the timer, I wonder.
yeah. Honestly,
Actually, really
maybe I
smart
would believe
play.
it. And Seer, just a quick air dribble. Just a good opportunity off kickoff. The other Ragnarok went for boost. The other one, actually not an air dribble, it was just a second touch, but still, very good hit over Ragnarok. Just was not
Yeah.
ready for that.
Here we're seeing the speed difference. Ragnarok just not as fast as Seer. It's
Oh.
certainly really strong in the air, but I gotta say these kickoffs are throwing Ragnarok off here. Seer seems to have a much better kickoff, and it manages to get a lot of opportunities because of that. Here though, Ragnarok with a shot, unfortunately, not a good enough shot. Seer over the top will just break away and send that one straight down into the orange net. 5-1 now in favor of Seer.
The other Ragnarok was getting boost upfield. I think that Ragnarok was really expecting a better shot there, but its teammate let it down.
Yep.
Let's see what happens
Not
after
able to
the
recover
kickoff.
in time.
So you're cheating up.
Decent kickoff.
Air dribble attempt. Gonna hit it off the backboard. Is the other Seer there? No, Ragnarok will take possession. It's going up on the wall, but Seer just too quick with it. And Seer boosting to the ball to try to finish, but what a save by Ragnarok.
What a save. Off the inside of its own post, Ragnarok saves that shot from Seer. But will it be enough? Seer is just relentless here, taking shot again and again. We have Ragnarok gets a brief opportunity, but he just sends it away straight into the waiting arms of Seer, who takes it up the wall and does its own Ragnarok flick. Look at that. And this one will go in. Seer saying, let me show you how it's done, as it gets the ball past Ragnarok, off the wall, into a flick, straight into the net.
Perfect shot. Seer is also very good at those off-the-wall plays, but doesn't do it as often. And Ragnarok, of course, with the signature musty every time. Ragnarok with the just standard front flip, but it goes straight in. Perfect angle. Ragnarok off the wall here. Seer manages to clear it downfield. The Ragnaroks are taking it back, decides to flick it across to keep possession. Very good play. Ragnarok with a 50 with Seer on the wall. Seer manages to get it past Ragnarok. Ragnarok hits it to the other Ragnarok, who clears it. Looks like Seer's going to get the touch here. It goes off, but Ragnarok has possession here. Manages to break away, but Seer is back and decides to not actually take it to the corner like I thought it was doing. Ragnarok had an opportunity there, but it wasn't good enough. Ragnarok now sending it back. Actually, a good decision there. Instead of turning it around, decides to head it towards the back post so that Seer can get the touch. Ragnarok now has possession, taking it across. This is awkward. The other Ragnarok was in the way. Seer took the boost now with a perfect opportunity for the air dribble, but only one touch. Decides to leave it for its teammate, who doesn't get the best shot. Now, Ragnarok, perfect flick. This could be a good opportunity, but Seer interrupts it, but looks like it's rolling just in front of the net.
Oh no,
Seer gets back in time. Good shot
Seer
and another
save.
save.
Good recovery.
Ragnarok off the wall. The other Ragnarok, perfect opportunity. The other Seers weren't back. The Seers weren't ready for that. That's a rare time I think I saw. Yeah, both Seers were in the corner. Rare mistake, positional mistake from Seer. Leaves the net wide open for Ragnarok to sink that one.
Yeah, that's out of an uncharacteristic double commit by Seer into the corner. Maybe, I don't know if they were out of boost, maybe kind of waiting for that boost to spawn. But yeah, Ragnarok did a really good job capitalizing there. And, you know, that whole play really from Ragnarok was super aggressive, showing just how capable Ragnarok is at attacking the defense from Seer, you know, if it can get an opportunity. We've seen most of this game, the ball's been in the orange half like here. And unfortunately, you know, Seer, or Ragnarok, unfortunately for Ragnarok, Seer is going to take this one here. We have 1 second left on the clock, but, you know, Seer convincingly shutting Ragnarok down. But in those opportunities that Ragnarok did get, it seems like Ragnarok was putting up a good fight.
Yeah, I mean, Ragnarok, I think this was this game had the most goals scored against Seer than any game I've seen with Seer in it. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure during Bubble Sort we never saw. To be fair, it's first to four in Bubble Sort, but like, I don't think I remember seeing more than like one goal scored against Seer, unless maybe Ripple did something. I don't remember. Maybe it wasn't.
Ragnarok put up a great showing against Seer here.
Yeah,
I gotta say.
Ragnarok, just with its signature aggressive playstyle, managed to get some good opportunities off of Seer. Seer with many shots, of course, of its own, but Ragnarok holding strong with almost as many shots. 7 shots from Ragnarok to Seer's 10, and about equal number of saves. It's actually a very close game stats-wise. Seer with more score, so more, I don't know, well, more goals, actually. That's why it has more score. But Ragnarok had a lot of good opportunities there, a lot of good saves. Just played very well, very solid.
Yeah, a good showing from Ragnarok, but Seer overall just faster, stronger, better. You know, big hits, really good aerial control. A lot of, you know, Seer was not afraid to go up the wall and go for these follow-up shots. You know, set itself up off the backboard. Seer just, you know, looking very strong as ever. But yeah, good showing by Ragnarok. Now, next up, we're going to have...
No goals have been scored against Seer? Oh my god. That's actually crazy then.
That might be true. I'm not sure. I thought Ripple got a couple, but you might be right. We'll have to go and check the record.
Ripple versus Nexto for this next match. This is now... I said that almost... I realize now, I think I've said that every previous match, I said this will be fun, but this one will really be fun, because these are both
for sure, this one.
babies.
Listen, okay, every previous match was fun, okay?
That's true. That is true. But this game, it's Rolv's 2 babies, Nexto versus Ripple. I'm very curious to see who takes this, because Ripple, you know, during Bubble Sort, managed to beat Nexto. And I did not expect that personally. So I'll be very interested to see in a full 5-minute, not first to 4 game, whether or not, you know, Nexto will be able to hold on. Will be able to continue on to a match against Seer in the upper bracket semi-final? I don't know what it's called.
An upper bracket match. Rolv and Soren working, you know, worked really hard on Nexto. It came out on top for a long time until Seer came around to challenge it. Nexto, you know, sort of the poster child of RL Gym.
I reckon Nexto for no particular reason. How ominous is that from Rolv?
Yep, well, you know, Rolv and Soren have been hard at work on these new kickoffs. And Nexto is just so strong. So here we go. We'll get into it. Ripple with the ball on top does turn it around, gets it around 1 over the top of the other Nexto, but the goal is not there. Nexto clearing it down the field into the hands of Ripple, who is going to go for the boost, maybe for a turnaround, pops the ball, tries to get it over the top of 1, but Nexto with a good challenge now. Ripple, ball on the hood. Nexto goes in for the demo. Now that's something we didn't expect to see. Nexto demoing the Ripple who's carrying the ball, sending the ball into the blue half. Ripple now has respawned with the boost, does get a good 50. Second Ripple, taking the ball a little bit up the wall, tries to center it back down to the midfield.
50.
Nexto with a good challenge.
This could be a good opportunity for Ripple. Nexto taking a little too slow there, and a good opportunity, but Nexto, of course, gets possession right after. Of course gets a good flick, but Ripple with a good save. Looks like Ripple's going to send this downfield, but the other Nexto is perfectly there. A perfect shot there, but Ripple with a good counter. Nexto off the wall. Ripple is there, but a kind of weak touch. The other Ripple tries to save it away, but this is going to be a good opportunity from Nexto, who hits it. Oh, Ripple with a miss off the wall. Nexto could have had an opportunity, but I don't think Nexto was expecting that. Ripple manages to fake out 1 Nexto. This could be a good opportunity for a flick. A good flick, but it's off the crossbar. Nexto hitting the crossbar quite often this match. Could have had a couple goals actually already. Nexto hits it forward, beats Ripple to the ball. This could be in. I'm not sure if it's in. The other Nexto's there anyways.
Nexto just a little bit faster in the midfield here. Does get it over the top, and this is a really just a nice leisurely lob over the top into the net. Nexto will get the first goal here, but a pretty close match so far. Ripple seems to be keeping up. It's just not quite fast enough to some of these challenges. We'll see how it fares as we go forward here. 1-0 in favor of Nexto. Kickoff going in favor of Nexto as well. Gets it off the wall, but Ripple is there to clear. Nexto now centering it for the teammate, but there's no one to follow up. Ripple in the goal line, but Nexto apparently doesn't need anyone to follow up. Nexto
well, actually does. It does need someone to follow up. It's Ripple who follows it up.
Yeah. Nexto gets a nice little pop over the top of 1, goes up in the air, turns around for an awkward touch down right on top of Ripple, who will send it into its own net. That's now, unfortunate.
You could really tell Ripple was trained off of players. Ripple had so many opportunities earlier to score, managed to miss all of them, and then own goals.
Yeah.
Truly replicating the players that it was trained off of.
It's uncanny how human it is.
Ripple with a
But
good
now-
shot here. Nexto just going to catch it. Just going to flick it. Quickly gets it over. The other one's there.
No
It's just so
problem
easy.
at all. Nexto eats those for breakfast. Look at that. This is a classic Nexto play. A little catch, nice pop, flick over the top. Second Nexto goes in for a follow-up. Straight into the net from the midfield. Ripple is nowhere to be seen. Nexto now 3-0. You know what? I'm thinking, Rolv, you might have been right about this one. I think Nexto might take it.
Yeah, Nexto was like, oh, you think you have an opportunity here? Oh, that's funny. And then just perfectly sinks it into the net. Ripple, actually, with a quick demo there, has possession here, but gives it away. Nexto with a, pretty weak shot, but Ripple sends it high anyway. Nexto with a shot, but, well, it missed. Ripple, good opportunity here. Oh! Air dribble bump type the play there, but the other Nexto is back in time and just sinks it. The other Ripple was not back in time. Wasn't ready for that.
No problem. Just taking the shot, from almost from its own goalie box into the
Ripple.
orange half, straight over the
That's
midline.
So sad. Ripple went up to steal the boost, and it missed that boost by like an inch, and then didn't have it to run back. It wasn't going to save it anyways. It shouldn't have gone for the boost steal anyways, but it missed the boost steal, so it literally had no point in going up like that. Nexto.
An unfortunate play by Ripple. Going in for the bump. Nexto
bump.
is having none of it. No boost. Sends the ball over the top. Second Nexto is there. Barred down and out. An incredibly close shot. Now Ripple with an opportunity. Sends the ball downfield, but Nexto is there. Popping the ball high. Ripple will go off the wall for the follow-up. Sends the ball high off the ceiling right over to Ripple, who catches it. Flicks it. Gets demoed. Ripple will catch it now. Ball is in the blue half. Oh no. Second
Awkward.
Ripple bumping
50.
the other one out of the way. Interrupting the play here, giving Nexto an opportunity to try and regain possession is Ripple, sending the ball back down towards the midfield. Good follow-up, a
shot.
decent shot, but not quite on target. Nexto will flick it really high, goes for a follow-up, popping it even higher again towards the midfield. Ripple off the wall now, getting it over one, almost over two, doesn't quite manage to make a good shot, and now we have Nexto with the ball in its hood, and that's a classic Nexto flick straight over the top. Unfortunate play here. Ripple does not manage to get good contact, and Nexto will catch that. Nexto says, no problem, thank you for the goal, sending it right over the top, barreling into the net with a incredible flick.
Wait, I just realized, Redox said allegedly rigged. I just realized that Rolv's message earlier could have been foreshadowing for the fact that what if Ripple has code that's like, if I face Nexto, I throw. I'm just pointing it out. I don't think that's what's happening, but that would
probably
be really
not.
funny.
I think Rolv probably wants Ripple to win. He's been working on Ripple for a while now.
That's true. That's true. But I mean, Rolv was the one to say that he thinks Nexto's gonna win. Nexto,
I think Rolv just has the
both in the
script.
corner.
Did anybody send Rolv the script for this tournament?
Yeah, I think
I've got my
he did the
copy
script.
here, of course, but yeah.
Yeah, if you read the script here, you'll see that Nexto does in fact win this match. But Ripple really should have gotten a goal, honestly. Ripple had so many good opportunities at the beginning of the game. Nexto actually can't put that one away. This could be a good opportunity for Ripple. The other Ripple, both Ripples are there. Ooh, almost an air dribble bump there, but couldn't get it. And Ripple just challenges in the corner, really needs to stop doing that because Nexto could have had an opportunity. And a good shot. It does have an opportunity.
What
Perfect angle.
Incredible shot here by Nexto. We have the ball rolling up the wall. Nexto gets one touch, doesn't even wait for the ball to land, and manages to sink an 86km/h post down and in off the crossbar.
That is
Tight
crazy.
angle shot here. That was a really, really nice shot by Nexto. Not that it was necessary. 8 seconds left on the clock. We're 6-0. Nexto definitely going to take this one. 2 seconds. Nexto's just going to let it roll. 1 second, and now Nexto takes that game against Ripple much more convincingly than the last time they played, I will say.
Yeah, a lot more. I thought it was going to be quite a bit closer. And to be fair, Ripple did have, I think, should have gotten at least one goal in there, especially at the beginning. But towards the end of that game, it was looking pretty decisive for Nexto. I mean, you can just look at the stats here. Ripple got a lot of shots, to be fair, but Nexto had more saves. Ripple only had 3 saves, just not able to play very well defensively. Nexto with more actually equal shots. Ripple had a lot of opportunities to shoot, and so did Nexto. But Nexto was just playing way better defensively when Ripple did shoot. So Nexto just had more counterattacks and just easy goals, easy flicks, and Ripple couldn't save them.
Here again we see Nexo just being almost a wall for ML bots. Very, very few people have managed to meet the ability of Nexto in the machine learning category. Seer being the only one that has managed to actually surpass Nexto, convincingly at least. And we see it again. Ripple looking really strong in its game versus Necto, and of course in the bubble sort, Ripple was looking really good, especially with that comeback last time. But as soon as it goes up against Nexto, we see pretty much every ML bot fall apart.
So that means Nexto is going to face Seer in match number 7, but we're dropping down to the lower bracket right now to see Opti-GP versus Ripple, which will be very fun to see. We just saw Ripple, of course, in that last match. Opti-GP just beat Vulcan decisively. Will Opti be able to beat Ripple, or will Ripple be able to beat Opti? Ripple, I think, did beat Opti in Bubble Sort. I think... No, actually, no. Ripple did. When Ripple was throwing that one time during Bubble Sort with that bug, I think Ripple did lose to Opti-GP. But I'm pretty sure Ripple's got the win here. But
well,
Opti
you never know.
strong.
Both bots have been updated since then. Ripple did seem like it was able to squeak out the one against Opti last time, but it was a reasonable match. So I'm excited to see how the changes to both of these bots maybe change their seeding a little bit.
That's true. Actually, yeah, I think you're right. I think in Bubble Sort, when we did see Opti versus Ripple, I'm pretty sure it was pretty close. So it could go either way here, honestly, and both of them have been updated. So I'll be curious to see how that changes everything. And actually, Opti with also a very similar to play style, as I mentioned earlier, seemingly to Nexto. I could be wrong with that comparison. I'm not the most, but it seems similar to me. Lots of times keeping possession for itself, going for those dribble flicks. So it's going to be interesting to see Ripple face Opti after we just saw it face Nexto. Opti with a good kickoff there. But Ripple is going to get back in time. Going to hit it off the wall. Beats one Opti, but could not get a follow-up there, and Opti sends it high, but Ripple is there. A little bit of an awkward touch gives the opportunity for Opti to clear it downfield. Ripple, with a nice touch, hits it off the wall to the other Ripple, who is dribbling it, has very low boost. A good flick opportunity, but Opti saves it away. But Ripple now sending it center, but the other one went back. Opti now going for a bounce dribble. Now with a traditional dribble, will it flick? It does, and
what a nice flick from Opti. And incredible control here. You can see on the midfield, it manages to catch the ball, almost neutralize that bounce, and carry the ball right on its foot into just a beautiful... I mean, you can't even ask for a better flick. That was bar down and in. What a nice shot there by Opti, taking it up 1-0. Now we have the kickoff. Ripple trying out that new kickoff strategy, manages to neutralize the ball. Opti will be the first to follow up, gaining possession. Ripple now gets the corner boost right on the goal line, pops it over the top of Opti. Doesn't seem to be afraid at all since the second Opti is pretty far back, but that will give it the opportunity to neutralize the attack by Ripple. Sending it back into the orange half. Ripple now off the wall, trying to keep this ball out of danger. Opti there for a 50. Keeping the ball in the orange half, but Ripple will now catch it. Drive it up off the wall, trying to go for maybe a center. Opti is there, but a great opportunity, and Ripple, an uncharacteristic miss here. Had all the time in the world there, even went up for it, but just did not quite manage to get contact on the ball. Opti now,
and a breakaway.
It turns out, gets a breakaway in the turnaround, and that'll be 2-0 in favor of Opti. Wow, I wonder what happened there. Ripple just seemed to miss, unfortunately.
That's what I meant earlier when I said Ripple is kind of inconsistent. I feel like Ripple should have gotten that one. Maybe it's the players it trained off of or something, but that is just such an unfortunate miss there. I mean, it didn't even get a touch. It just completely missed the ball. All it needed to do was, even if it touched the side of it, it probably would have gone in, but just such an unfortunate misplay there. Ripple sends it, but Opti has perfect opportunity there, but gives away possession. Ripple hits it towards Opti. Opti playing patiently, flicks it over one Ripple, but the other one is there, centers it. Will Ripple go up? Decides not to and goes underneath the ball. A weird back aerial, but Opti is there to clean it up. Flicks it over one. Ripple going for a fake challenge, but Opti is not faked. A quick challenge there, and the other Opti, ooh, good save by Ripple after the shot is in, but, you know, Ripple manages to save it. Ripple now going for the dribble, does not get it over Opti. Ripple now again with possession, and Opti just a quick challenge. Ripple teeing it up perfectly. Both Ripples a little awkward there. Should have gone for a flick here, but it wasn't perfectly on top of its car. Ripple trolling, yeah. I'm afraid to say
Yeah,
Ripple is not.
Ripple seems to be just a little confused this game almost. Something about Opti is maybe throwing it off. Ripple is kind of, you know, it's tripping over its own toes here. Oh, okay, well, you know, we get one goal here, finally. Ripple managing to sink in at least one of the easy shots it's managed to set up for itself without interrupting its own teammate. We're 3-1 now, but yeah, Ripple definitely doesn't seem to be prepared for the playstyle of Opti. It almost even looked a little more confident against Nexto, even though it obviously lost that game. I will say Ripple does not seem to know how to handle what Opti is doing. Just getting caught out of position, interrupting itself, missing these easy shots. Something's going on.
Demo maybe?
Ripple now, okay, had an opportunity, but Opti does manage to get over the top of the demo attempt and go for the 50.
Center.
Ripple setting it up, but no one is there for the follow-up. Opti will just catch that one and start driving it down the field here. Tries to go for a flick, but it's not great. Ripple will send the ball into its own corner, clearing it towards the midfield now, but no one is there to follow it up. Opti does manage to go for the shot, but it goes wide. Ripple now off the wall, trying to maybe pinch the ball off the floor. Doesn't work out. Second Ripple is there for the follow-up. Takes a 50 with Opti. Ripple now in the midfield has a chance to flick over the top, but Opti is there to interrupt. Ripple now on its own goal line. Catches the ball. Opti tries for the 50, but Ripple almost looks like it faked Opti there.
Oh, I saw it.
Does not, again, missing an open net. Just Ripple does not manage to sink the shot, unfortunately. Even after a very good strategic play, Ripple's aim just is not on. Right now, Opti going for the downfield near post shot. Doesn't quite make it in. Ripple now off the wall, bringing it into its own corner, trying to get that ball safe. Pretty bad bounce off the wall. But right after that, of course, Opti bumps into itself, and Ripple now shot opportunity, demo in midair, but Opti just barely manages to get there. Ripple is not letting off, however, takes another shot from the midfield. Opti again is there. Ripple taking once again another slow shot towards the net. Ripple catches the follow-up clear from Opti, trying to take the ball back down towards the midfield, but Opti is having gets a challenge to send it right into the middle where the second Opti can follow up into a shot. That was a good series of plays, though.
Ripple with a little bit of a double commit there. It goes off the wall. The other Ripple actually manages to almost recover in time and try to get a piece of it, but Opti is just a little bit too fast off that play from the wall. Let's see how this kickoff turns out. Opti with a decisive victory on the kickoff. Ripple going to take the boost here, has possession. Maybe the other one goes for a demo. No. Opti with a quick challenge, and ooh, wow, that was way too close. Ripple barely managing to get that flick and getting it off the crossbar and out. Ripple a little bit of a challenge there, and Opti just quickly challenging Ripple in the air, hits off the ceiling, and the other Opti's there to clean it up. This was just a little bit slow from Ripple.
Not good enough touches from Ripple, I gotta say. It's either too slow or it's just not quite making the contact it seems to be going for. Something is just a little bit wrong with pretty much all of the plays that Ripple is trying to make here. And Opti, you know, does not seem perturbed by this at all. It says, thank you for the goals, and we'll take all those opportunities. Now 5-1 in favor of Opti.
I should say that.
Yeah. Ripple did really well in the bubble sword.
Nice bump.
Yep, good bump, taking the possession away from Opti, but the second Ripple doesn't really manage to do much with it. Opti will send it back downfield, tries to go for the follow-up, but Ripple pops it over the top. Now, Ripple getting the ball on its hood, grabs the mid-boost, driving it towards the blue net, trying to go for maybe an air dribble, but doesn't quite manage to make it over the top. Opti with a decent clear, but Ripple will send it back into the blue corner. Unfortunately, it'll be too little too late, even if Ripple can capitalize. We've got 1 second left on the clock. 5-1, Opti is going to take this game. And that's, you know, I gotta say, that's a little bit of an upset. I think everybody expected Ripple to do better than this, and it just doesn't seem to have, you know, been able to keep up with Opti here. The updates to both, I guess Opti is, you know, Opti's updates made it just that much better.
It's interesting here looking at the stats because saves and shots are pretty much equal between both of them. I think Ripple just played a little bit less solid, Opti a little bit more consistent, and Ripple with many opportunities that were just either off the post or that one shot opportunity where it just went flying past the ball. I mean, I think it easily could have gotten another 2 goals. But towards the end of that game, Opti was just really decisively putting on more pressure than Ripple. And Ripple, every time it got possession, it would get possession fairly consistently, but it just wouldn't be able to do much with it. And Opti would always be able to counterattack. So just not the best showing from Ripple here, as it unfortunately gets knocked out of the lower bracket.
Yeah, Ripple just not able to do too much there with all its opportunities. Ripple is now out of the tournament. An unexpected showing, I think, from Ripple. But you know what? May the best bot win. Now we have up next Opti Hardcoded versus Ragnarok. Looking forward to this game. I always love to see Ragnarok play.
This will be fun. God damn it, I say that every time. I just...
Well, you know what? It will be.
It will be. Well, any match with Ragnarok is fun.
Yep.
I'm curious to look at this.
Playstyle.
It's interesting looking at this because Necto, only lost to Opti Hardcoded 4-5. Ripple beat Necto 3-0, and then Ripple lost to Opti-GP decisively. And it's interesting looking at that, seeing that Hardcoded Hardcoded we know, at least in Bubble Sort, was worse than GP. So I guess that is expected. But I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see Hardcoded versus Ragnarok here, as Ragnarok did, pretty decisively beat GP. And so if Hardcoded is in fact worse than GP, then we should probably know the outcome. But who knows? Maybe Hardcoded will pull out, some interesting tactics that happen to counter Ragnarok's playstyle.
Yeah, it'll be good to see. You know, like you said earlier, I think Opti often looks almost like a mini Nexto, and that kind of playstyle can trip up Ragnarok. We saw that in the Bubble Sort. Nexto was able to pretty much shut down all of Ragnarok's attempts to set things up. So you know what? If Opti can manage to mimic that sort of playstyle, then maybe it'll give Ragnarok some trouble. But we'll see here going into the 11th game now in the tournament. Opti Hardcoded versus Ragnarok. We've got the first kickoff here. Opti rocking the blue and yellow. Here we are. First kickoff.
I should say if Hardcoded beats Ragnarok here, then that means it will be Ragnarok with a quick shot there off the kickoff. But I should say if Hardcoded beats Ragnarok, then it's Opti GP versus Hardcoded in the next match. So I actually kind of want Ragnarok to win because I mean GP's already going forward to face Ragnarok in the next match if Ragnarok wins.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Ragnarok going for a delayed kickoff or maybe some kind of a fake, not sure. Interesting choice. I wonder why I went for that.
Well, it's
maybe
not really
a
a fake because it's still committed. It flipped, it tried to jump there. I'm not sure what that was.
I wonder if what happened maybe is because they both spawned next to each other. Maybe they both, since they can't really communicate, maybe they both just decided that the other one was going to go. But either way, 1-1 now. 4 minutes, 45 seconds in. Ragnarok with a really nice flick into the top bins. Opti almost gets the save, but just can't quite clear the ball out.
So far, it's only been basically kickoff goals this match. Ragnarok hasn't even gotten the opportunity to do its signature, go off the wall and do the musty flick. It's just been quick goals.
Yeah, we're only 15 seconds in, and we've got 3 goals. This is the fastest scoring game we've seen so far.
This time it was Hardcoded who was doing a weird fake kickoff. Ragnarok dying to Opti. Looks like that will leave a good opportunity for Opti to maybe get it over Ragnarok, but Ragnarok beating one Opti, but the other Opti hits it all the way down. Ragnarok a little bit awkward there, and Opti takes the opportunity to shoot it. I'm not exactly sure what Ragnarok was doing there. It panicked a little bit. Tried to get the boost, but then it didn't turn that quickly, and Opti with just a nice angled shot into the net.
Bit of confusion there from Ragnarok, and you know what? We saw Opti-GP confusing Ripple, and now we're seeing Opti Hardcoded maybe confusing Ragnarok. Just didn't seem to turn in. But Ragnarok does win the kickoff, sending the ball towards the blue net. Opti with a boomer of a clear into the midfield. Ragnarok catching, going for the flick. Opti has a nice save. Ragnarok recovering off the inside of the post on the blue net, while the second Ragnarok fights for the ball in the corner and gets it over the top of one, but the second Opti is there to clear it into the orange half. Now Ragnarok bumps one of the Optis while the second Ragnarok gets a nice backflip flick, sending the ball to the midfield, but Opti is there, back into the orange half. Now Ragnarok flicking the ball, just trying to go for a clear. Unfortunately, every time Ragnarok does one of these flicks to clear the ball, Opti seems to be there. Ragnarok does have an opportunity now, manages to finally get something over the top of one, but the second Opti is all the way back, ready to defend. Ragnarok again with possession, going to take the ball back into its own half.
Okay.
We've seen this before, it's okay, it looks scary, but Ragnarok loves to do this. Drives the ball into its own half, drives the ball up the wall, and goes for a backflip flip.
Not a great shot there for Ragnarok. It should have shot higher, but it went onto the ground. Ragnarok with a flick center, just trying to keep possession away from Opti, and it's working. And Ragnarok takes a quick shot, but Opti saves it. Ragnarok keeping with possession. Ragnarok's strategy seems to be just really wanting to prioritize keeping possession away from the opponent and trying to get it over the opponent as much as possible with those flicks off the wall. Opti with a little bit of an interesting touch there, trying to like do a pit maneuver on Ragnarok there as Ragnarok flicks it across, leaves it for the other Ragnarok who hits it off the wall. The other Ragnarok takes it back, gonna do its signature. Does it get a good flick? A pretty good flick, but Opti is there to save it. Ragnarok now gonna take the ball, doesn't have any boost, so it's gonna go all the way back for the boost. Looks like Opti demos the other Ragnarok, but the Ragnarok with possession gets a good flick and gets possession again, a good flick, but it's off the backboard. Opti good flick, but Ragnarok with a good interrupt.
Opti trying to flick it over the top. Ragnarok with two good 50s in the midfield here, gains possession, sends it into the waiting hands of Opti, who manages to catch the ball. Ooh, does an interesting play there. Opti had every opportunity in the world to bang it over the top of Ragnarok, but managed to make the smart decision, send it underneath into the orange corner. But unfortunately, there was a Ragnarok waiting there on defense. Ragnarok now pumping the ball high into the midfield. There is a follow-up, but it's late. Opti sending the ball back into the orange half. Now Ragnarok with the ball on top, trying to go for its usual take the ball at the wall strategy. Opti's there for some interference, but Ragnarok does get a reasonable clear, going for the boost in the midfield as the second Ragnarok is going to take the ball up its wall and, of course, go for one of its own flicks. Doesn't make great contact with the ball, not the best hit, but does manage to send it into the blue half, and Ragnarok maintains possession, carrying the ball back into the orange half on its own. Flicks the ball really hard, trying to get it maybe over the top or past one of the Optis, but Opti just goes back in defense and leisurely waits for Ragnarok to take a shot. Now Ragnarok again with possession in its own half, this time taking the approach of driving the ball quickly around one of the defending Optis. Second one was there to defend the follow-up, and now Opti sending the ball back into Ragnarok's hands once again. Opti up in the air for the follow-up from the flick. Ragnarok doesn't quite manage to make good contact, and Opti doesn't quite manage to get a good follow-up shot. Ragnarok now flick opportunity, sends the ball hard, but not unfortunately not fast enough. Opti does get the defense. Now Ragnarok clearing the ball across the blue net, maybe trying to go for a pass, but the second Ragnarok wasn't there. Second Ragnarok turns around on the midfield, tries to go for a shot at the ceiling, doesn't manage to make it. Ragnarok there goes for a shot, but the touch is pretty awkward. We get a flick into the midfield again, but the second Ragnarok was not there for the setup. Opti now finally with an opportunity, tries to send it over the top of the air carry, but well, the touch just wasn't good enough. Ragnarok now gets the 50, ball back in the blue corner, trying to get a flick into the midfield maybe, but doesn't quite manage to get a good hit.
No.
Centers the ball, but the clear is good from Opti.
Ragnarok now taking possession here, going to flick it off the wall. Opti with a good touch there. It's in, but Ragnarok is going to get the save. Quick save, turns it around, keeps possession.
0 seconds on the clock, flick. And I think we might see our first overtime here as the ball touches the ground 2-2. What a close game.
Okay, here we go. Off the kickoff, Ragnarok wins the kickoff. The other one is there, flicks it high. Opti manages to get a piece of the ball. Ragnarok waiting underneath the ball. Going to keep possession, decides to head back as Opti was looking like he was going to challenge, and Ragnarok wanted no piece of that. He wants all the possession, all for himself, takes a flick, but it's off the ceiling, and Opti's going to hit that backwards. And Opti with a quick follow-up, is that in?
Ooh! Oh no! Ragnarok with an incredible save. Opti just barely unable to keep it to get it in.
Yo!
Ragnarok just an unbelievable goal line save here, keeping us tied up This is the closest game we've seen so far as Ragnarok goes up the wall in its own corner. Opti now from the midfield managed to send it back to the corner, but Ragnarok is having none of it. Ragnarok sending the ball midfield up the wall, tries to get a flick, but the shot is not good. Opti is there, sending the ball back towards the orange half. Ragnarok grabs the boost, ball bounces awkwardly, manages to catch it on the hood. Ragnarok just turning the ball away, keeping it in its own half, takes the ball at the wall, going for another flick. We've seen this a dozen times before, but Opti is there, good on the defense. The follow-up shot is good, but it's a little slow. Ragnarok will catch it, drive it back around the corner. Here we go again. Ragnarok trying to go for another flick. Not the best touch. Second Ragnarok has a good follow-up, but Opti is just ruthless on this defense. Almost an impenetrable wall here from Ragnarok, who goes for a low boost. Pop over the top, doesn't manage to sink the shot here. Okay, looking good for Opti, has an opportunity, but Ragnarok manages to outspeed Opti and catch the ball. Ragnarok flick over the top into the midfield to his teammate. Second shot, not quite good, and Opti is there for a follow-up. A really wide clear by Opti. Now we keep seeing these really long clears into the hands of Ragnarok in its own half, and this is what Opti seems to be. This is what seems to be his weakness. Ragnarok with a good flick, but of course Opti just always there, seemingly never overcommitting. Now with an opportunity. The midfield 50-50 goes in favor of nobody. Ragnarok going for the midfield boost, manages to catch up. Second Ragnarok, little bit of a team bump there, but it's okay. We get a shot off the crossbar. Opti will clear it back to the midfield. Ragnarok sending it in a backward pass to itself off the corner. Gets a follow-up, but the shot is not quite good in the midfield. The clear is not good off the ceiling. Not quite in. Ragnarok unable to make the shot. Now catching the ball. Here we go. Another opportunity. Ragnarok is just going to drive this ball back into its own half. We've seen this so many times on the goal line. No! Ragnarok, its weakness, trying to clear the ball over across its own net. Just finally, Opti manages to take advantage here. Gets the 50. Finally wins it right on the goal line in the worst possible place for Ragnarok and will win the overtime. Ragnarok has lost to Opti hard-coded.
Wow, that is crazy. You know, Ragnarok had done that play, that exact play, bringing it across its net and flicking it so many times, but the ball caught the corner of the ramp and it hit it too far away for Ragnarok to get a good enough flick, and Opti perfectly 50'd it into the net. Such an unfortunate misplay for that final goal. Opti, though, great showing. I mean, look at that. 10 saves, incredible defense, and, I mean, Ragnarok, of course, had so many good opportunities, so much pressure, but Opti managed to defend all of it and got the good counterattack there on a mistake that Ragnarok, you know, a mistake that Ragnarok should have been able to save that. It had done it so many times, but it just couldn't do it that time. What a game.
That was an incredible showing. You know what, Opti-HC, I gotta tell you, maybe you should rename this thing to Opti Goalie, because my god, look at the defense on this guy. Opti just not letting anything in, never overcommitting. There was always a defender. And that was incredible. That was a great game. That might have been the best game we've had today.
Dude, 25,000 points to 3 points. 3,000 points. 3 points would have been insane. 3,000 points.
Yeah, one heck of a payout there for the viewers who were betting.
Yeah. My god, that was such a great match. I'm a little disappointed, I have to say, that Ragnarok, an incredible save from Ragnarok, didn't end up, like, I mean, it meant something in the moment, but Opti ended up winning anyways. It would have been even more incredible if Ragnarok had been able to turn it around after such an incredible save. But to be fair, I mean, Opti, that goal, that save was incredible. Opti could have easily scored, that could have easily been bar down and in, and Opti would have won the match in that case. And so Opti did deserve to win. But, I mean, just such a great showing from both bots.
Yeah.
Which means it will be Opti-GP versus Opti hard-coded in the next match. Well, not the next match.
So the next match we're going to get Seer versus Necto. So hopefully people are excited to see this. I think this is probably my favorite matchup.
This is probably the matchup that everyone's been waiting for. After such an incredible match, too. I hope this one isn't destruction. We've seen Nexto has been updated. We saw this match in Bubble Sort. It was not that close, but it was first to 4. Maybe Nexto will hold its own better in a longer match. And it has been updated, like I said. Seer has not been updated. So Nexto has every opportunity to possibly catch up to Seer here and make this a close match.
Yeah, we definitely got a chance. Of course, Seer definitely does seem to have been the superior bot in most aspects the last time we saw this matchup, but like you said, Nexto has been updated. Different kickoff strategy, slightly better maybe.
Yes,
We'll
Nexto
see how it
has been
goes.
updated. To answer someone's question, Nexto has been updated. It probably, yeah, I guess only kickoffs, but still, I mean, who knows? Maybe it was perfectly balanced to counter Seer's kickoffs. Who knows?
Maybe. Well, that's not a good start. Seer winning the first kickoff very convincingly. Doesn't manage to get the corner boost. Nexto will try to get the ball away, but Seer is there for the follow-up. Nexto trying to gain possession, fighting Seer here, but definitely just boost starved as Nexto takes the ball in the corner. Seer now in the midfield, driving the ball at the wall, going for an air carry. Ooh. This is Nexto's weakness. Seer, though, doesn't quite have enough boost for the follow-up. Seer trying to keep the ball into the orange half. Nexto now catching the ball, flick over the top. Seer will touch the ball in the air just to try and make things a little awkward for Nexto. Nexto now clearing the ball down the field, and the Seer is waiting. Seer doesn't quite manage to place the shot on target. Nexto doesn't get the follow-up. 50-50 in the midfield goes in favor of Seer. Nexto trying to get over the top of its teammate as it bumps the ball high. Nexto with good shot into the blue half, but Seer will just take it back right into Nexto's half. Nexto trying to get over the top. Seer, however, in the air. I think that might have been a pre-jump. I didn't quite see. Let's find out. Nexto goes here for the flick. Seer is just already in the air. What a fast shot here. A great reaction from Seer to send the ball over the top, and the other Nexto was not prepared. Seer just seems to be outclassing Nexto like we've seen before.
Yeah, Nexto was almost there in time, but went around the long way to get the boost. And now Seer with a good opportunity here, but Nexto up very quickly. But Seer going to turn that one right around with a quick aerial. Seer on the ball with 0 boost, manages to flick it over one Nexto. And the other Seer, unfortunate mistouch, but Seer, the other Seer, manages to get a touch back. But now Nexto with possession, gives it away to Seer. Nexto here, flicks it over one. The other Seer 50s and has possession here, but no boost. Nexto decides to hit it high, and Seer, oh wow, a fake from Nexto or a miss from both bots as the remaining Seer decides to clean it up afterwards. A low 50 brings it all the way across to the other Seer, who flicks it. This is going center, but Nexto with possession. Seer, quick 50, the other one's up, but not a good touch, although actually a pretty good pass to the other one on the wall, as Nexto sends it high, but Seer is all the way up for that. Sends it weakly towards the other end. Nexto hits it high over the other one, but the other Seer's ready. The Seers are just always ready. Whenever it beats one, the other one's always there. As Nexto cleans up, takes possession. The other one hits it off the wall to the other Nexto, who flicks, but a quick challenge. A bump coming through, but no goal came from it. Nexto now hits it over one, but not actually over one. The other one goes up on the wall. Oh, here we go. Good opportunity. Seer's not going to get back in time. 1-1.
Very nice. What a nice conversion by Nexto. You can see here almost how Nexto it's like it's trying at every opportunity to get that ball catch, the carry, trying to convert it into something it's comfortable with, and Seer is just jumping, it's going for these 50s, it's fast, it's in the air, it's ready for Nexto, not going to let it set up, but Nexto there with a good conversion, manages to tie up the game. We're 2.5 minutes in. Now, first kickoff going in favor of Seer, brings it into the orange half. Nexto trying to clear it away, goes for the 50 in the air. Seer will keep it in the midfield. Second Seer ready for the catch off the wall, follows it up, starts to try and fly it into the net. Doesn't quite manage to get a good angle. Nexto there, off the wall, manages to clear it into the midfield. Seer now with a good shot, but not quite on target. Seer doesn't manage to get the 50. Nexto over the top. Seer, however, in the air from the backfield. Seer manages to demo Nexto. Now, ball on top of Nexto's hood, flicks it over the top of one. We've seen that before, but the second Seer is there, ready for the follow-up. Shot was good, but Nexto was there. Seer again off the wall, keeping the ball in the orange half. Nexto trying to clear it away, goes off the wall, but Seer is there. Always going up in the air, ready to counter. Nexto with the catch and flick as usual. Second Seer tries to go there, but isn't quite ready. No, the ball barred down and out. Nexto does not manage to score the goal. Incredibly close shot. Seer now with an opportunity, carrying the ball into the orange corner, takes it off the wall, maybe trying to go for an aerial play, but doesn't quite manage to convert. Seer now popping the ball into the midfield just to try and make things a little
Good
awkward.
flick.
Nexto going for the follow-up. 50 is not good. Seer manages to get it over the top of one and around the other one. Almost far corner shot, but unfortunately
This could
Seer
be a
does
good
not manage
opportunity.
to make
What
it.
a flick!
An unbelievably strong flick by Nexto. Seer will be up for that in time, though. Now Seer with an opportunity. Booms it down the field. Nexto catches it over the top of one Seer, right into the arms of the next Seer. Now, Nexto with an opportunity to defend.
Oh.
Seer does not manage to make the shot.
Good
Nexto
turnaround
converts
from
into a
Nexto.
flick. Seer is there, ready to defend. Seer lets its teammate get the boost. Nexto flick over the top. The boost. Seer does get the save on the backboard. Seer now popping the ball over the top of Nexto. Nexto, however, keeping it in the blue half. Seer trying to take it towards the midfield. Second Nexto is coming in from the defense. Good 50 into the midfield. Sends the ball back. Seer does shoot a clanger of a shot right down onto the goal line, but the second Seer was not ready for it. Does manage to pop the shot over the top and score a goal, though. A slow shot to end the tie here, but that was a great 2 minutes.
Nexto was up for that way too late. Probably didn't have any boost, but the other one, for some reason, didn't stay back. Decided to try to go for boost. Thought the other one had it, but Seer just manages to pop it over. But Nexto almost had that goal there. That was almost insane. It's going up. Looks like Nexto is going to get possession. A quick flick, but Seer with a quick counter as Seer now has possession. Seer trying to challenge it in the corner. 10 seconds left. Will Nexto be able to turn this around? It has possession. It needs to flick. It doesn't flick, and Seer's going to beat it to the ball. Unless Nexto can keep this up, this is game. Nexto with a flick. Seer with a shot. Off the bar and out. That is game. Seer wins 2-1. Not a decisive victory. Very close. I mean,
yeah, that was
really
a much
good
closer game than I think we've seen before from Seer and Nexto. It seems like whatever Rolv and Soren have been feeding Nexto, it's definitely gotten a fair bit stronger. That was a really good game, especially, we saw that incredible flick by Nexto that went bar down and out. That could have been the decider. We wouldn't have been tied up if that had gone in. So that game was just on the razor's edge.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be really excited to see this match again because, I mean, let's be real. We probably will see this match again. This will probably be the grand finals, I'm guessing. I'm guessing it will be Nexto versus... Wait, no. Actually, Opti. I guess if Opti beats Necto, that would be crazy. Sorry, not Necto, Nexto. That would be crazy. But I'm guessing we'll see this match again, and I'll be curious to see if Nexto manages to convert more of those goals, because Nexto had so many good opportunities there. But, I mean, just a couple off the crossbar. To be fair, Seer also had a couple off the crossbar, so Seer could have also scored more. But, I mean, just such a close match. Such a great match.
Yeah, a good showing by both bots there. Seer coming out on top. Well-deserved, but you know what? A lot closer than we thought. Now, next match, we're going to see Opti-GP versus Opti-HC. I feel like it just keeps coming back to this matchup. Every time Opti as both of the versions in the bracket, we keep seeing them come together. It seems like, when one of them goes up, the other one goes down. They end up meeting each other again. So here we go. I'm ready for this match. My bet's on Opti-GP. I think it's probably going to pull ahead, but you never know. We've seen a lot of upsets today, I gotta say. So
here's the thing, though. Opti-GP lost to Ragnarok 5-2, and Opti hard-coded won to Ragnarok 3-2. So
that's true. You never know. This could be it. Maybe something about that hard-coded selector figured something out. It did definitely have some incredible defense against Ragnarok. It seemed like there was basically always an Opti on defense, so it'll be interesting to see how the GP version can counteract that, if at all.
Opti, the king of the lower bracket, both instantly out in round 1 in the upper bracket, and both made lower bracket runs, but who will be the one to face Nexto in the lower bracket finals? Let's find out. Looks like people are voting for GP over hard-coded. Interesting choice when, as I described, hard-coded beat Ragnarok and GP didn't.
All right, let's get into the game here. We have GP versus HC. We've got
GP is general
HC
play
on orange and GP on blue. First kickoff, ball goes into the possession of HC. Well, GP sends it wide down towards the orange half. Both teams just sort of booming the ball back and forth right now. GP with an opportunity to clear does send a really wide shot. Good 50. HC here in the corner gets the boost, manages to capture the boost, will defend a quick shot here, goes for a dribble. HC now carrying the ball down the field. GP ready for the defense. Flick is good, but GP was there. HC now in the orange half manages to catch the ball. Not a good hit. Bounces off the top. GP trying to go for a shot, but it goes wide. GP 50ing HC now up in front of the orange net. HC traveling down the midfield, trying to convert this into a shot, but GP is there. HC tries to catch the ball, maybe a follow-up, manages to sneak it past one, but the shot is not good. GP now with an opportunity, carrying the ball in its hood, driving down the field, going in for a flick. The flick is good, an incredible little, just a turn on the flick there. What an angle. Let's watch this again. GP catches the ball, and look at this control. I gotta tell you, he pops the ball up in a side flip flick off the onto the bad side of the defender, going in the opposite direction where the defender is flying. What a smart move by GP. We've got 1-0 now with a minute down.
That's what I was going to say. That flick was perfectly placed behind the defender. Opti-GP with another opportunity here. Hard-coded doesn't go back for some reason. It looked like hard-coded could have, maybe. It missed the boost. I don't know. It missed the boost. I missed the boost twice. I think if it had got the boost, it probably could have gotten back in time. But it just, couldn't get back in time. GP with a quick goal. Hard-coded with an interesting delayed kickoff, but it works out in its favor. It now has possession here. Slow play, doesn't quite get the flick. Opti-GP now with possession. Flicks it high. A little bit of a weird recovery there. The other GP is there for the hit, but hard-coded saves it away. Hits it to the corner. GP now with possession. A good flick over hard-coded. Hard-coded now with a weird joint double jump as they bring it up, and the other GP, hard-coded, hits it away. It is now centered. GP...
Oh no!
No.
I gotta tell you, we've seen 3 own goals this tournament so far, and all 3 of them have been this shot right here. We've got one team, clearing the ball around the wall in the corner across the front of the enemy net, and the defender just kind of slides it in at a really tight angle. What an unfortunate event. HC does manage to get a goal though, so now we have 2-1, 3 minutes on the clock. GP with the ball in the orange half, trying to bring it up the wall, maybe go for a center or something, but HC is there, clearing the ball back towards the midfield. But GP does catch the ball, flick over one, keeps possession, catches it again. Here we have another flick opportunity. HC is there. The flick is not good, and GP is not quite sure how to flip upside down, or flip right side up, I guess, just kind of laying on its back like, man, I wish I had hit that flick. But HC doesn't manage to convert. GP now with an opportunity to clear the ball into the orange half. Does get a good 50. Opts to send one back while the other one goes in for the follow-up. HC clearing the ball back into its corner. GC won't let that happen. GP managed to get a shot. HC is there with a good 50. Neither team seeming to have an obvious advantage, although the ball is in the orange half pretty much all the time here. HC now clearing the ball into the midfield. GP goes for a shot, but it's low and fast. HC is ready for the defense. Second follow-up sends the ball back into the corner. No clear for the orange team as both teams vie for the ball in the middle. Ball goes high and GP goes for a catch. HC won't let that happen. Bouncing the ball into the corner with a good 50. Now HC trying to send the ball maybe into the middle. No one is there. GP sends the ball into the corner, trying to set something up here. HC is here. The ball just kind of sticking around in the orange corner for a while now. HC with an opportunity, driving the ball on its hood, maybe going for a flick, get a little payback from earlier, but no, GP won't let that happen. GP now could have boomed the ball, but decides to let it bounce. Sends the ball slowly over the top of one of the HC, manages to catch it. Now we have a good flick, okay, maybe a shot opportunity for the second, but there's no follow-up as HC catches the ball, sends it back towards the blue half, a great 50 off the top of one of the GPs. The follow-up, unfortunately, from the orange team is not there. Ball now in the midfield as HC is backing off. Goes for a turnaround, flick over the top of one, gets demoed. GP is there, great shot opportunity. Unfortunately, HC didn't respawn in time, and that'll be 3-1. A good play, a good showing from HC, but unfortunately that demo by GP was the killer move there.
Yeah, that demo was crucial, but also the other hard-coded bot was really far upfield and didn't get back in time, and GP just with a wide open net. As we have a weird kickoff there. I don't know what happened. Both bots didn't immediately go for the ball. They both turned away. Hard-coded passed it to GP, who now it's on hard-coded's half. Hard-coded has possession. A 50 means that's going back to the corner. Hard-coded is going to have possession, but actually it's a 50, and it's high near GP's net. Hard-coded with a good shot, but what a save by GP. Now, we've got hard-coded with a good opportunity there, but GP actually gets to the ball first. It is now cleared across. Hard-coded, playing patiently. They're both underneath the ball. They both challenge at the exact same time. They're both Opti, so I mean, that makes sense. Hard-coded with a good clear. It's now at the opposite corner. GP just playing patiently, waiting for a challenge. Hard-coded hits it straight to GP, who now has possession. Now, GP getting ready for the flick. Here comes. Oh, the double jump air dribble bump, but it's not in. Hard-coded now cleans it up. Can it get a good flick? It kind of also tries to go for an air dribble bump, but GP saves it away. Now, GP they're trading, going back and forth between these dribbles across the field. They both save it. Now it's hard-coded's turn, except couldn't quite get underneath the ball, so it's a clear instead. Will this be in? Ooh, it's a little off, and GP with the nice touch afterwards to make sure hard-coded doesn't get the follow-up. And now that will be the end of the game. Will GP get another goal here? Oh, almost. Oh,
Good flick over the top, but unfortunately not on target. Oh, maybe HC with a chance now. Sending the ball downfield, and wow, what a close save there. Right off the crossbar, down and out to end the game. Not that it would have mattered if either team had scored there. But you know what? A great showing from both GP and HC, I gotta say. GP pulling it out on top. I did think that was going to happen, but you know what? That was a good game nonetheless.
Yeah, GP had far more shots that game, 13-7. But what a game in general. I mean, GP played just a little bit better than hard-coded there. I'm a little surprised again because hard-coded did in fact beat Ragnarok and GP didn't. But I don't know, maybe it had a little bit of a counter strategy against Ragnarok that worked better. But in general, we now know GP is a superior Opti, and now we'll go against Nexto in the lower bracket finals.
Yeah, this is going to be a great game. You know, HC had a really good showing against Ragnarok. I think that was our best game so far. GP showing itself to be a little bit better than HC. And so I think GP's showing against Nexto here is going to be really exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to watch because, I mean, GP, I feel like, does have a pretty similar playstyle to Nexto. Hard-coded lost against Nexto 5-0. So GP winning against 3-1 to hard-coded means that maybe we'll get a goal or a couple goals on Nexto. I don't think it will win, but, you know, I mean, anything can happen. Maybe GP will get lucky. Maybe Nexto will be on an off game. I mean, Nexto did just have a sweaty game against Seer, so we'll see.
Yeah, you know what? If I'm Opti-GP right now, that's probably the thing I'm scared of most. Is I know that Nexto is warmed up, especially after that showing against Seer.
Ripple did get beat early. Ripple got beat actually against Opti-GP. So Opti-GP now facing Nexto after defeating Nexto's brother, Ripple. I mean, I guess brother. Yeah, right? Same dad, I guess. So now let's see if Opti can take down Nexto.
Yeah, you know what? Here in the lowers bracket, Opti has been taking the Necto family by storm. First it beat Necto, then Ripple, and now we're up against Nexto. And no matter who wins this game, I think everybody can agree Opti has had an incredible showing this tournament.
Yes.
Now, first kickoff, going in favor of Nexto. Opti manages to take possession. Nexto is there in the midfield, sending it wide. Second Nexto there for the catch, and we have an opportunity for a flick. A good flick, but Opti is there. Nexto now falling back, letting the second Nexto take over. A good shot, straight over the top, but Opti is there with a nice save at the post. Now Nexto from the corner, sending another shot in. It's not quite in, though. We get a clear from Opti as the second Opti catches the ball, trying to bring it down towards the orange half. Gets an opportunity for a flick, but Nexto is there. Okay, the ball goes high. Opti's there for the follow-up, but Nexto defends it.
There we go.
Nexto now with a breakaway shot manages to sink the first goal. 1 minute in, we have 1-0 for Nexto.
Yeah, Nexto, I mean, Opti went all in on that play. The other one was already up, and the other one went for the shot, and Nexto quickly converted it into a counterattack goal. Let's see what happens here off of kickoff. Nexto, just with a decisive win. It's almost in, but Opti manages to catch it and flick it. The other Nexto's up, though. This is now going to be a follow-up touch from Nexto. It's off the backboard. Nexto tries to follow up its own touch, its own pass, but it's off. Nexto, again, just keeping possession. Both Optis panicking there. Opti needs to get the 50 here. Nexto almost low 50s it, but gets saved away by the other Opti. Now, Opti with possession, needs to get a good flick. Nexto with the quick block. Now Nexto with possession, playing patiently. The other Opti's all the way back. Will it be able to save? It does! A nice save from Opti coming through. Nexto now flicking it in the corner. Opti with possession, tries to get it over Nexto, but Nexto just getting those 50s. And another 50 there, going center. Good opportunity for Opti. It's almost bar and in, but it's bar and out instead. And Nexto now with possession. The other Opti had poor recovery, so it's only one Opti back, but just a double jump there means that Opti gets the save. A nice hit there from Opti means that it will go all the way to Nexto's half, and Nexto plays it back, hits it over one. The other Opti stalls it in the center. Nexto flicks and 50s with Opti at midfield. Nexto hits it high. Opti keeps possession, hits it over one Nexto. Can it finish? The other Nexto's there for the save. Now, Nexto going to keep possession here. Going to get a good flick opportunity, but Opti with a nice save, just continuously getting these good saves on Nexto's flicks. Opti really needs to get some good flicks of its own down, as it gets a good flick down, but Nexto with a quick hit hits it off the side, and now Opti has possession. Opti gets it over one, but a bump comes through and means Nexto gets a free clear. Nexto hits it center here. Opti gonna try to block that, gets to it first. A 50 there. Nexto gets it onto Opti's half. A little bit awkward here. Opti 50s and it goes off the corner to Nexto, who hits it off the corner, who hits it to GP, which hits it to GP. Now Nexto trying to center this. A good follow-up. It's a little high. Can Nexto finish it? Yes, Nexto can.
There we go. And what a long span we had there between goals. Opti putting up a great showing on defense. Unfortunately, these little mistakes like this, Nexto managing to pop it over the top and get a quick follow-up while the second defender was out of position. And they do seem to be, leading in Nexto's favor a little bit. But again, Opti, great showing, putting up really strong defense against Nexto. Now, on the kickoff, we have Opti gaining possession, goes for a flick, but the power is not great. Nexto now clearing it downfield, goes straight for a second shot, but Opti is there to challenge. Near the midfield now, Nexto could turn around, but will get beat to the ball by Opti, gets a 50 in the air nonetheless, sending the ball up the wall in the midfield. Nexto off the wall, sending it for a really strong shot straight from the midfield off the wall. 3-0, this is nothing like the last goal. Nexto convincingly taking this one. We got a minute 30 left on the clock here, and look at that, 112 kilometers per hour from the midfield shot. And that was a low boost shot too, I think. Nexto wasn't even going that fast. So it's really able to generate so much power from these flicks. Now we have kickoff going in the favor of Opti. Gets a quick follow-up, and look at that. What a conversion. Opti managing to win the kickoff and score a goal in, just under a couple seconds here. This is a really nice play. Great kickoff, great follow-up. Didn't even manage to get the boost pad, and Opti still got enough power to get 79 kilometers per hour. That's a no boost flick. Didn't even manage to have the ball in its car, and it still got that power. This is incredible.
Opti winning the kickoff. Nexto hits it high, now has possession. Misses the flick there, but a nice hit from the other Nexto. Is it in? Opti with a good save. Opti now going to hit it past one Nexto, and the other one takes possession. Going to hit it up, and Nexto is there to clear it away. And a demo coming through for Nexto, and a good shot there. I didn't get to see what happened too much, but Nexto just a quick demo and then flick over the last one. What a play.
And Nexto pulling out another off-the-wall shot at the midfield, but just demos Opti, says, get out of my way. Let me show you how a RLBot scores a goal, and shoots a quick shot from the midfield. 4-1 now. Seems like Nexto has found its feet a little bit against Opti. A little more convincing scoreline now as Nexto gains possession at the kickoff and sends the ball towards the blue net. Opti with a clear. Nexto now following it up, but Opti won't let that happen, sending it down the midfield. Nexto here in the air, pops the ball high. Second, Nexto follows it up and sends it down towards the blue net. A good high lob, and wow. That just goes in. What an interesting shot. Opti seems maybe a little confused. I wonder if Opti didn't actually...
Was that bar down?
Yeah, it was just about bar down and in. I wonder if the Opti on defense maybe didn't even think that it was going to go in.
Yeah,
but that'll be 1-5 now.
Nexto with almost a kickoff goal, but instead it goes in Opti's favor. But Opti couldn't keep control of it, and a 50 now means Nexto, actually gets low 50'd, but Nexto gets a good block. Opti now letting Nexto have possession as Nexto flicks it, gets a follow-up touch. Opti hits it to the corner. Now, Nexto gonna turn around on this. Oh, but a little awkward there. Opti with a flick. And a good shot, but it's gonna be off. And Nexto just waits, flicks.
Keeping the
now,
ball up just for a little last second. BM goes for one more shot. But that's going to be the end of this game here. Nexto still keeping the ball up.
Oh,
no.
and the goal.
Oh, my. 1-6 here. The 0-second final BM goal by Nexto.
Nexto wanted to show
what a play. Opti, though, definitely put up a good fight in this game and put up an incredible showing in this whole tournament. Let's hear it, guys, for Opti and Kaiyotech, the maker of Opti. That was an incredible series of games there. I think Opti made it further than a lot of people would have thought, and it was just, it did really well against Ragnarok. That was an incredible game. It did really well against Nexto here, and you know what? Kaiyotech deserves all the credit in the world for that. What a great bot.
Yeah, I mean, such a good showing. Look at that. What is that? 13 saves? Incredible. What an incredible defensive showing from Opti. And of course, it still let in 6 goals, but that just shows you how many shots Nexto put on. I mean, 20 shots. That's crazy. Opti just showing how good it is at those defensive plays. And, getting a goal of its own, even if it was a kickoff goal. Still very respectable showing. And a 3rd place. Opti gets 3rd place. And now we're going to have the battle for first as Nexto goes up to the upper bracket once again to face Seer.
That's right, everybody watching, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be the grand final. We have Nexto versus Seer. I think a lot of people probably could have told you this is the matchup we'd find, but considering their last match, I'm really excited to see what happens. You're not going to want to miss this match. This is probably the most exciting match of the day for me, and I can't wait to see what happens.
Yes, this will be very interesting because Seer, did pull out the victory against Nexto, but it was 2-1. It was a very close match, low scoring, lots of opportunities on both sides. So it'll be interesting to see the rematch here in a longer format. I mean, we've got a best of 3 here and a potential for a bracket reset if Nexto wins. So let's get started. Let's see if Nexto can pull out a victory or 2 against Seer. I mean, that would be crazy. Imagine if Nexto causes a bracket reset. How hyped would that be?
That would be incredible. I think, you know what, the edge is probably in Seer's favor here. Seer just seems to be almost unstoppable. I mean, just look at that bracket. None of the games were close until it came up against Nexto. So Seer has just been having a nice leisurely tournament while everybody else is kind of struggling their way along. But you know what? I think this is going to be a great game. We have our best of 3 here coming in for the finals, Seer versus Nexto. We have Nexto, of course, it's been updated for this tournament. It's a little bit different. It's got a new kickoff. This is not even the old version of Nexto that got featured in the videos not too long ago, but this is actually Nexto plus, a modification of Nexto has been this whole tournament. And so I think if any bot is going to put up a really good showing against Seer, it is this version of Nexto. So I'm hoping we see some close games. I hope it's not a blowout. But let's get into it and see what happens.
Let's see. I really hope Nexto puts in some goals in this first match. That will be a test to see how interesting and how fun this series goes. But Seer with a good hit there gets possession. Now Nexto 50s it. It's now on Seer's end. Seer flicks it, but the other Nexto's there, but Seer actually manages to hit it before Nexto. Nexto now lobs it towards Seer's end, but Seer, now with free possession, goes towards the wall, going to get an air dribble opportunity. Actually, a flick. Well, not really a flick, just a flip. Oh, a little awkward there, but Nexto manages to save it away. Now, a little bit of a bump there, but Nexto manages to flick it past Seer anyway. It's now a very high shot, goes off the ceiling. Nexto hits it and gets a piece of it as it now goes to the corner. Seer with possession, air dribbles and flips, and then the other Seer's there with a nice hit downfield. Another hit off the backboard. Nexto not getting a piece of that, but this could be a breakaway opportunity. Seer gets the touch just in time. Now, Nexto with a hit. Seer hits it across to the teammate. Now, hit off the wall means a good shot opportunity for Nexto. As Seer goes low and the other Nexto goes high, this is a good opportunity for Seer. Nexto actually playing patiently because the other Seer didn't go. So now Nexto with possession, the other Nexto bumping. But this is probably going to be a hit from Seer off the wall. Good shot here. Nexto needs to save this, gets a save. Seer immediately up, but the other Nexto's there. Now, oh, wow, I thought Nexto was going to get possession, but Seer actually hits it. But that's a little bit of a bad touch, and Nexto with a missed flick, unfortunately, could not get control of the ball. Seer going for like an air dribble bump, maybe. And now, Nexto with possession. Flicks. Seer hits it away.
Nexto now, good challenge in the midfield. Manages to take possession. Another 2 good challenges even. Flicks the ball around one, gets the 50 over the other up the wall. Seer, however, in its own half, manages to boom the ball down the field. Taking possession, Seer now from Nexto's corner, centering the ball to the other Seer, who's not quite there, but they managed to keep the ball in the orange half. Nexto with a save from a reasonably awkward shot. Seer, great 50 right in front of the orange net. Maybe an opportunity here, but no, the second Nexto is there, managing to get the follow-up. Seer now popping the ball over top of one, keeping things awkward. Nexto goes for the flick, manages to get possession, but Seer with a really good challenge at the midfield manages to turn around midair. Seer now with a shot opportunity. It goes wide, not quite able to convert. Nexto going in for the defense. Seer with a interesting little shot there. Tried to maybe get it around Nexto, but the second Nexto was there. Seer now off the wall, keeping the ball in the orange corner. Nexto trying to drive it up the wall, maybe convert back into a more offensive player, but Seer is having none of it. Seer just constantly challenging over and over again right in front of the orange net and in the orange corner. Nexto trying to flick it down into the midfield, but Seer goes up immediately, neutralizing the ball, waiting for the teammate to get a second touch there, keeping the ball in the orange corner. Nexto now over the top of one, but Seer is waiting on the wall, keeping it in the orange corner. Seer now trying to go for a shot, but Nexto just won't let anything by. Nexto with possession, Seer trying to intervene, but can't quite manage to stop the flick. The counterattack from Seer is good, but Nexto was there on the defense. Seer now hitting the ball hard. Nexto with a great counter off the wall here, sends the ball straight downfield into the blue half, but Seer does manage to catch it. Now, going up the wall, Seer flying, carrying the ball in the air, tries to convert it to some kind of shot, but it's a little wide. Nexto, good defense, manages to clear the ball into the midfield. Good challenge from Nexto, keeping the ball into the blue corner. Seer trying to take it off the wall, fly it down towards the midfield, but Nexto with a little aerial interference. Unfortunately, the second Seer was there, ready for the catch. Now, Seer carrying the ball off the wall once again. Doesn't have the best angle, but manages to keep it towards the orange goal. Okay, a great 50, and wow, what an incredible conversion. We have Seer trying to fly the ball, doesn't get the best angle. Nexto with the clear, but unfortunately, Seer was there, and Nexto didn't get a great hit, and the second Seer, ready for the follow-up, does sink the first shot. We only have a minute left. This is 4 minutes into the game. What a close game so far.
Nexto with a fake kickoff there. A 50 means Nexto, should have possession, but a little bit of a bump there means that Nexto was forced to hit it high. Seer now hits it off the backboard. Nexto's there. A missed flick, but the other Nexto flicks it over, but the other Seer's there. Hits it off the backboard. Nexto with a quick bump. This is a little awkward. Nexto with a quick save. Now Nexto playing patiently. Keeps possession. A good flick. Is the other Seer there? Yes, of course they are. Hits it high. Oh, a little bit of a misplay from Nexto. Misses the block, and Seer converts yet another goal. Unfortunate.
What a great touch here to set up the goal, though. I gotta say, that was an incredible touch from Seer to send it high and then straight down so it could set itself up for the shot. Nexto wasn't up in time. Maybe a low boost situation, maybe just a little confused, but it was a really good setup and follow-up by Seer. Here we have Nexto doing another fake kickoff. Interesting strategy. Seer trying to convert a quick shot, but Nexto is there and does come out of this with possession. So very interesting. Nexto has a flick opportunity, goes high, Seer is there. The bar hits the crossbar. Wow, what power Seer managed to get on that clear right there. Oh my god, sending the ball straight down the field. Nexto is there. Seer, however, keeping the ball in Nexto's corner. This is what we've seen all game. The ball just sitting in Nexto's corner near one of those big boosts. But you know what? Hey, look at that. A clear downfield. Off the 50 does score Nexto 1 point right on the 0-second mark.
Yet another 2-1 game.
And yeah, another 2-1. Very close. A really, really good showing from both bots here. This is an intense match.
Yeah, I mean,
Seer will take the first game, though.
Seer did get some just, its signature is, I feel like, being just ready for every touch the opponent has. Like, Nexto got some good flicks and stuff, but as soon as Nexto will flick it over one, the other will be perfectly there, and, it had that perfect shot just underneath the crossbar. And, I mean, it's just ready for everything. Let's see if Nexto can figure out a way to counter it.
Nexto is really dangerous on the offense, but Seer has an incredible defense. It's been really good at positioning. Everywhere that Nexto seems to be able to hit the ball, there's always a Seer there waiting for the challenge, waiting to recover possession and convert back into offensive play. So here we have game 2 in the best of 3. First kickoff going in favor of Seer. Goes for the flick. Nexto is there, but low boost. Seer's trying to follow it up, keeping the ball neutral and in the air. Nexto goes up on the goal line, manages to get a good 50 to clear the ball out of the way. Nexto now has boost and the ball, goes for the flick. Seer, good 50, manages to keep the ball in the midfield. Second Seer sending it towards the orange half. Now, Nexto, a quick double tap, teammate to teammate, manages to clear the ball, but Seer is there like it always has been. Nexto just trying to clear the ball around the wall, but Seer won't let it happen. Nexto manages to get a catch on the goal line, doesn't quite clear it. Seer is there, just keeping things up in the air, keeping things awkward. Finally, Nexto has a breakaway. Seer goes to catch the ball. Now we have the ball in the blue half. Seer popping it high up the wall. Both Seers go up in the air at the same time here, clear it all the way downfield. Nexto has nothing in response. Nexto now in its own corner, banging the ball high off its own wall, trying to send it down to the midfield. Seer goes up the wall for a quick recovery shot. Nexto does manage to get back in time off the crossbar, but Seer is there. The shot is not. Nexto clearing the ball back down towards the field. Seer trying to set it up for the teammate, maybe back in the midfield, but doesn't quite get the good touch. Nexto off the backboard, trying to clear it down to the middle. Nexto now with an opportunity, does get the flick, but Seer is there for a 50. The ball again falling down towards the ground in the orange net. Nexto is there for a clear. Seer ready to catch it. Ooh, an interesting miss there from Seer. Maybe a poor opportunity, tried to get the boost. Not sure what happened, but Nexto has a chance here. The ball in the blues half. Seer clearing it down towards the midfield. Second Seer with a follow-up sends it right back into the orange corner. Seer now popping the ball high, just carrying it around, trying to maintain possession. Not a good shot opportunity, but you know what? Every second, no. Every time.
Finals.
Every single own goal that we've seen has been this exact shot on Nexto, pulling off another one right at the near post, trying to squeak the ball past and just can't quite manage it.
So
the first goal is an own goal, bringing Seer up 1-0.
Thank you to Finesse your bot for 2 tier 1 gifted subs, by the way. As now Seer with a bang across field. Nexto gonna take possession here, but actually hits it high. And Seer's ready for that. Nexto now hits it a little bit too high, and Seer almost with an opportunity there, but Nexto is clearing it away. Seer with an interrupt. Nexto now with a good flick, but Seer's instantly up for that. No problem. Now, Seer with a good touch here. Nexto has an opportunity. Keeps possession. Big flick. Not in. Both Nextos commit. That is rather unfortunate for Nexto, as Seer is just going to roll that one in.
An unfortunate double commit from Nexto gives Seer the opportunity to get a little catch, and look at that. It will just leisurely roll the ball in. It says, don't mind me, I'm just going to let the clock tick down a little ways. I know you can't catch it.
Thank you for the sub, aim later, and chat. Oh, no, I don't know how to pronounce this. Chat-Intlin?
Thanks for the subs.
All right, anyway.
Now,
Nexto.
Here we have kickoff going in favor of Seer. Nexto trying to clear it, but can't quite manage it. Seer tries to reset the ball.
Ooh.
Good 50 in the midfield. Seer is already up for it. Nexto now with an opportunity. Could go high, but Seer is there from behind. Manages to neutralize the ball with an interesting touch. Nexto now popping it over the top of Seer on the midfield. Second Seer was already rotated back, though. Manages to send it over the top, back into the orange half. Nexto now popping the ball high, trying to just get it over the top of one. Second Nexto was there for the follow-up and a good goal opportunity here. Seer is there, though.
Wow.
Can manage to get the save on the recovery. That was an incredibly fast recovery by Seer there from a good opportunity Nexto had. Now we have the ball in the orange corner. Nexto seems like it's happy to give up possession. Seer will send the ball far downfield. Nexto trying to prepare for something here. Manages to catch the ball and flick it towards the corner. Now in the midfield, up the wall. Nexto with possession. Seer going for a backflip challenge in its own corner. Nexto gets one demo. It's a 1v2 now. The ball in Nexto's hands. Second Seer has respawned. We have the Nexto pop the ball high, following it up in the air. Now, Nexto on the goal line. Seer manages to save the ball, but it goes high. Nexto is there for the follow-up, but the shot is not good. Ball drops on top of the roof of Seer, who's now carrying it downfield. We have a flick opportunity. Seer deciding not to flick and instead just keeps the ball in Nexto's half. This is really interesting. We see Seer do this all the time. Instead of going for shots sometimes, it'll just keep the ball in the orange half. And I think this is a really important strategy that's working out super well, because here you can see Seer always has some kind of a teammate, some kind of follow-up ready to reset the ball if one of them loses possession because of this play, and it works out just like that. Eventually, Seer will find a gap. It'll find some kind of an opportunity. If all it needs to do is keep the ball in the orange half, not let Nexto get any opportunity, not gain any ground, and here we see that working out in the favor of Seer. 1 minute left on the clock. Game 2. We are 3-0. It looks like Seer is going to take this one.
Not a good idea to the fake kickoff as Seer just double jumps over Nexto. Not sure exactly what one of the Nextos was doing as it went way upfield, leaving the one with no boost in net. Makes that 4-0. I don't think Nexto has any way of coming back from this unless it gets a lot of kickoff goals, which, I mean, it did get updated kickoffs, but that kickoff was not great from Nexto as Seer now hits it downfield. Nexto going to hit it off the corner. Seer is going to get the touch. It's off the backboard. Nexto now going to get an opportunity to clear this. Seer demos the other Nexto. Now, Seer with possession. Going to have to flick the other Nexto that's coming up, who now gets possession, flicks one Seer, but the other Seer hits it, and now it bounces center. And Seer manages to beat one Nexto. The other Nexto collects the ball, flicks, gets it past one. Will it beat the other Seer? No. Seer hits it to the corner. Now Nexto flicks, gets over one Seer, but the other Seer's there. Now one's on the wall. It's going to get a good hit into the corner. Nexto leaving it in the corner, trying to clear it out as one Nexto overcommits. Seer gets it past the other Nexto, but Nexto's up. Seer now immediately up, hits it to the corners. Nexto going to have to dribble this one, but no, it's going to hit the ground.
The ball hits the ground. 4-0. Game 2 in the best of 3. Seer takes the whole thing, never dropping a game. Seer will win the whole tournament, being crowned now the best machine learning bot. What a showing. Incredible stuff by Seer. Seer is just so impressive. You know, Nexto put up a good fight, but it's just the king has been dethroned. It's time for Seer to take his place atop the ML charts. Congratulations to UltrawideGC, who was the developer of Seer. Really impressive stuff. This is a great bot, and what a great series.
I mean, yeah, seriously, such a great bot, UltrawideGC. I mean, incredible stuff. It's amazing how good it is at keeping pressure, at getting the opponent to just commit, getting it, you know, waiting for those opportunities for it to make the mistake, and always at the same time making sure that the opponent can't get any counterattacks. I mean, look at that, 10 shots to Nexto's 2 shots. Nexto just could not break out of its own half to get a shot. Nexto holding its own, getting 6 saves. Seer only needing to do 1 save. I mean, that's just crazy. That's just insane. The pressure was immense. No, I'm not going to have King versus Seer, whoever's asking in chat. That is not happening. That is not happening. It will just be like 100-0. It will not be fun. I'll just be here like screaming in the voice chat. Do you want to hear me cry on stream? Well, I'm not gonna stand for it. King versus Seer for 1 minute. Fine, yes, for the title, sure. Whatever. We'll do it. I mean, like, technically it's hard-coded champion versus machine learning champion. Let's do like Mercy of like I don't know, 6 or something.
A Mercy any more than 10 that. To yeah, keep it in the
Mercy of 10. God damn it! No. Oh, I don't want to see 10 goals.
Well, it could be fun. You know what? Just to see, just to see how hard coded is faring against machine learning.
Fine. It's just gonna be so bad. It's just gonna be so bad. Oh my god.
But yeah.
My only hope is a kickoff goal. That's my only hope.
What an incredible bracket we had here, and I actually think Nexto and all the other bots put up a really good fight. There were more upsets than I had expected. Oh, yeah. Also for Opti, getting much further than I think anyone saw coming. So we also kind of missed the Ripple versus Ragnarok match, which was also something that a lot of people were looking forward to. I almost think we should do a show match on that too.
Which show match?
Rebel versus Ragnarok. The match that could have been number 12, but it didn't happen.
That's true. I do want to see that. That would be really fun. I think we have to do King versus Seer for just like...
I totally agree. But yeah, once again, congratulations to Neville, or whatever his other name is. But what an incredible bot.
UltrawideGC.
Yeah, that way. What an incredible bot.
Yeah. I think, and you know, I said this a little earlier in the tournament, looking at this bracket, I mean, Necto was, again, the champion, like, as early as last year, right? Was the best the best ML bot, the best bot that we had. And here we are, you know, 1 year later, and Necto didn't even stand a chance. There were just so many great bots now. People have come so far. I think this is such a great time to be making a bot, especially if you're into machine learning. I think this is such an exciting place to be, and I'm super proud of the community that we have, super proud of everyone in RLBot, super proud of everyone in RL Gym. You know, keep it up. This is just, it's so cool to see all this happening.
Someone said 3 King versus 1 Seer and said close match. I don't think that will be close. I don't think you understand how much better Seer is than
and then on the other hand,
hardcode bots.
The last time I tried a just 1v1 with Seer, Seer played significantly worse. So I think this version might be tuned for 2s or something. At least it requires a good number of bots on the field to play optimally. So I think we should just keep it at 2v2 and just really show what is the difference between hard-coded and machine learning.
1 King versus 4 Seer. King wins easily. Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, King wins that easily.
Yeah. Alright. Okay, I mean, what an incredible tournament. So many good moments. So many close games. Alright, here we go.
I am firing up the bench. Make sure
look at the rendering.
Oh no. You know what, that almost makes it better.
Oh yeah, we get to see the behind the scenes here.
Okay.
Alright, so for those who don't know, this is King is the champion of the hard-coded bracket, and Seer we just determined is the champion of the machine learning bracket. So this is champ versus champ, hard-coded versus machine learning. We'll see who can pull it out. Seer taking a quick early goal off the wall here, sending it downfield.
King just not at all ready for that. Could not possibly even guess that in the next dimension that would happen. King with a weak touch. Seer hits it. King actually gets a good touch off the wall, but Seer instantly interrupts. King now tries to keep possession, but Seer instantly takes it from him. Now it's going to go center. King with a nice clear, but Seer, of course, right there. King now hits it. Seer just keeping it in the corner. King is all the way across. Ooh. As Seer almost actually messes up, but yeah, King was just nowhere to be seen.
Seer got that flick touch just in the last second. He almost got too far out. He had a second goal, 40 seconds in. It's looking good so far, as expected.
I mean, look, I'm impressed that King was able to hold on for like 30 seconds. That's crazy to me. Why did it flip the wrong way? That's cool. Now Seer has possession. King
2 without
you definitely can't defend this. Yeah.
Oh no.
Well, I mean, it was in a decent
at least
position.
King is actually getting a touch, right? You know, it's not such a domination that King can't even make contact with the ball. It's playing the game. Okay, give yourself some credit. King's doing all right.
Yeah, King can't seem to hold on to boost. I wonder why. Maybe because King just uses all of it. All right, Seer has possession now. Hits it, actually. This could be an opportunity for King. Goes off the corner. Is King already up? That was the only opportunity King could have gotten if it already went up. King, of course, goes up for that, which is just such a good aerial to go for, of course. And Seer just converts it into a goal.
He makes the smallest touch possible here, just absolutely not affecting that trajectory, and it just falls down right in front of Seer. An easy fall.
Just like here's the ball. I'm just gonna hit it slightly closer to you in case you wanted it.
Wanna see me touch that? I can do that. Here we go.
I can do that, guys. Look at that. Look at my aerial prowess. Now King. Oh wow, actually, it goes wide as Seer hits it across, but now the other Seer hits it. King with a decent touch. Ooh, gets it across barely. Now Seer turnarounds on this. King is not going to. Okay, King trying to dribble in the corner. This is bad.
Oh yeah.
This is very bad. Yeah, just such an awkward play. Again, these kinds of scenarios, hard-coded bots, it's just too awkward. What am I supposed to do here? As it's like wiggling backwards on the wall, not quite sure how to defend that, and Seer just quickly puts that one away.
Yeah, how do you turn around and also not mess up the shot? Like, you just risk making it worse. So it's so hard for the hard-coded bot to really make a good decision. Another
King
super
just...
fast goal here off the kickoff. King nowhere to be found in the goal.
Not predicting that. I mean, King, if it knew, if it could have predicted exactly where Seer was shooting, it could have probably saved that. It had enough time, but it was just not ready for that. It was trying to go for the ball where it was, and Seer, of course, got an extra touch, and King was like, oh, okay, never mind. And Seer was just a quick 50 in, gonna convert yet another goal. I mean, like, I guess we can go to 10, but this is just, at this point, this is bullying.
Yeah, I think we know who's going to win. I mean, we were never in doubt, but we are really also just showing off what is the difference between hard-code and machine learning right now. And
That's true.
It's a 2 minutes in,
Ooh, not a
7
bad
goal
shot.
difference.
But
And a lovely long shot by Seer.
Banger of a shot. Right when you think King has like anything going for him, he's like, King's like, yeah, I did a good thing, and then instantly like, oh, well,
Oh, right, I have a goal.
right, yeah.
Ah,
I was too busy focused on their goal to realize that I have a goal. King is kind of a ball chaser. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
correct.
Yeah. Correct. Good hard-code bots, I feel like, are basically all ball chasers. As Seer just, I mean, yeah, King is a ball chaser, but also Seer's had way more possession, and that's just based on how much better Seer is, how much faster it is. And King just not ready for that. Those two touches, one to the other. Now one more goal. King, get a kickoff. Not actually a bad kickoff, but King playing too patiently. It steals the boost. The other King goes forward, manages to, well, 50, but Seer wins the 50. King was trying to hit that in the air. Gets it across. Seer takes the boost, flicks it, and gets it over both Kings. Just such a good play.
That's gonna be 10 goals
Worst
at
ML
exactly
versus
half time.
Look at that.
I would be down for Vulcan versus King. Someone
yeah.
said worst ML versus King. I don't know if Nexto versus King would be close. I saw someone said that it would win. Someone said that it would lose. What was the other match we wanted to see? I think we should take a break from King and see someone else.
Let's see Ragnarok versus Ripple. Here,
Yes.
just a second, I'm setting it up now. Also, let's just
Whoa.
I am
Rag versus
gonna
Rip.
have to step out shortly. I'm running up against my time wall here. I got about 15 minutes, so we can
Okay.
probably do this one. Then I'll have to step away for the rest.
All right.
Yeah, that's fair. Let me just quickly get a label here on the map. And let's start this other match. Let's hope it works. There's a warning sign here on Ripple. Is it not using a virtual environment, I wonder? It does seem to be working though.
Here we go.
Let me just
Ragnarok
make
looking
sure
so stylish.
it may not be working. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ripple's
Ripple
not
is
moving.
not having a lot of fun here. Interesting.
Why would we do King versus Molten? Molten's not even in this tournament. And also King would just win.
Okay, let me see if I can install this specific version of Rocket Sim that Ripple needs. Okay, I cannot. Interesting.
Hmm.
I cannot start Ripple from the GUI.
Okay, interesting. Set up a tournament with Ripple and Ragnarok as the first match.
Yeah, that could actually work. That
You'd
could
like put
actually
them
work.
first seed and 8th seed. Yeah, true, Kaya. Such a good tournament. Such good.
Yeah, excellent games.
I mean, just incredible moments. That one game with Ragnarok versus Opti, hard coded. That one was incredible. The overtime, the save from Ragnarok.
It
That
was
such a
so
good game.
close, yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good game.
I would have been curious to see Ripple, or not Ripple. Oh yeah, Ripple. No, sorry, Ragnarok beat Opti, because I would have liked to see Ragnarok make it a bit further, but you know, the Optis dominated the lower bracket. I mean, great job by Kaio. I mean, Kaio got, I think, in that case, 3rd and 4th place, if I'm not mistaken. Opti
Yeah.
GP getting 3rd and
yeah.
Opti Hard Coach getting 4th.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So, I mean, great showing.
Yeah, he's been working really hard on Opti for a long time now, so it's good to see it get so far.
Yeah. And I'm also happy to see that. I mean, it was very good for the tournament that the Nexto versus Seer games weren't just complete blowouts. It was really cool. I mean, Nexto put up a good fight.
It really did, yeah.
2-1 in 2 different games. I really feel like in one of those games, Nexto could have won, because like it was so close.
Yeah, the first one of their games, Nexto got their, or Ripple got not Ripple, Seer got its goal in the very last second. It could have gone to overtime.
True, yeah.
Yeah, Nexto put up a really good showing today. I was surprised. Oh, okay. All right, guess we're getting into it.
Here it
All right,
comes.
so we have Ripple versus Ragnarok, just for fun, just because people are looking for this matchup. See how it goes. So here we have first kickoff goes into Ragnarok's corner. Ragnarok
Wow.
clearing the ball downfield, manages to take possession, gets a demo on Ripple. Now Ragnarok sending the ball pretty far, bounces into the midfield. Ragnarok ready for the follow-up, but Ripple is faster. Now Ragnarok in its own corner manages to catch the ball, going for a nice backflip flick off the wall. As usual, straight to the second Ragnarok, who sends it. Okay, all right, all fully intentional, calculated, not quite into its own net. Now Ragnarok sending it downfield. Ripple trying to get it clear, but doesn't manage to make contact on the follow-up. Ragnarok drops the ball down. Ripple opts for the boost instead of hitting the ball. Ragnarok gets bumped up the wall. Ripple sending the ball downfield. Ragnarok has a good challenge. Manages to keep the ball high in front of its own net. Now with a good follow-up, sending the ball back down. Both Ripples close together, following the ball towards their net. Ragnarok sends the ball high. Maybe a pass towards the midfield. The follow-up isn't quite there, but Ripple doesn't make contact either. Ragnarok now catching the ball, goes for a flick, manages to get over the top of one of the Ripples. Second Ripple is there to take the boost. Ragnarok now driving it towards the blue corner here. Ragnarok off the ceiling, maybe goes towards the midfield, but Ripple was there for a catch, a good convert, sending the ball into Ragnarok's half, but Ragnarok is there to bounce the ball back, take possession, send it downfield. A good flick, the shot is good, but Ripple is there. Ragnarok now just trying to maintain possession here as Ripple flicks the ball towards its net. Unfortunately, Ragnarok not able to keep up as Ripple has a really good couple of touches here in the midfield, sending the ball into Ragnarok's net. Ragnarok unfortunately not able to recover on the curve of the inside of the wall there. And that'll be 1-0. First goal goes to Ripple.
Yeah, just a very good shot from Ripple. Ragnarok wasn't able to get back in time, a little bit of an overcommit. Ragnarok, a good 50 there. This is a good opportunity. Ripple will be back, and Ragnarok couldn't get the angle. Ragnarok trying to keep possession, but Ripple with a quick demo. Ripple hitting it high. Ragnarok misses the aerial there, as Ripple now and Ragnarok hit it back towards Ragnarok's half. Ragnarok now with a signature flick. Not much power, but it gets past one Ripple. Ripple clears it directly into the hands of the other Ragnarok, who just quickly converts it. Very good positioning from Ragnarok there, as it just gets the perfect block and converts that goal.
Yeah, nice 50 into a conversion. We're tied up now. 3 minutes on the clock. This is a really close game. Now, coming in for the kickoff, we've got a straightaway. Interested to see what Ripple tries to go for here. Ragnarok has all ML kickoffs, and Ripple is still trying out the hard-coded kickoffs with a different strategy. Now, Ragnarok sits down on top of Ripple, gets a good challenge down to the midfield. Ripple trying to win that 50-50, doesn't quite make it, and the ball goes high, a very awkward spot. Ripple kind of greeting for the mid-boost there, as Ragnarok has all the time in the world to follow this one up. Both Ripples out of position, and we go up 2-1 in favor of Ragnarok.
Very good 50. Ragnarok getting that right up above its Ripple's goal, and Ragnarok, of course, getting the shot. Ragnarok with an interesting angle on that kickoff. Manages to get a quick kickoff goal from that. Very interesting play there. Ragnarok going wide on the kickoff, hits it off the wall, and the other Ragnarok comes in and quickly converts the goal. Ripple was not ready for that play.
Yeah, I gotta say, it seems like today Ripple's positioning has been a fair bit worse. I mean, maybe it's just placebo, but from the bubble sort bracket, it felt like Ripple was a lot better at being in the right place at the right time. And now it seems like we see a lot of goals where Ripple is kind of off in no man's land, maybe going for boost or misses a demo and sort of gets itself out of position that way. But, you know, nonetheless, Ragnarok is perfectly consistent at doing exactly what we just saw just now. It takes the ball at the wall and near its own goal, gives it a flick downfield, and somehow manages to follow it up. So that'll be 4-1 now in favor of Ragnarok. This is not looking good for Ripple.
Yeah, Ragnarok, perfect top left shot. Ripple was just underneath the ball, and the other Ripple wasn't back. Left the net wide open for the shot. I mean, it was a good angle, it was a good shot. Ripple now with the 50, Ragnarok gets possession, but Ripple with a quick demo means that Ripple now have possession. It's a little awkward, but actually managed to get past, well, not quite fully past the Ragnarok, as now at 50s, goes center, Ripple hits it, it's going to go off backboard. A little bit of a bump there as Ripple finishes that shot. Ragnarok was not ready. One Ragnarok, I think, got bumped, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, one of them on the wave rotating back got bumped, and the other Ragnarok had no boost, I think, and couldn't save that.
Yeah, good play by Ripple there. A decent bump, trying to maybe edge out the recovery on that other Ragnarok. Seemed to work out. Now we have kickoff going pretty neutral. Ragnarok and Ripple both followed up, but Ragnarok will end with possession here as it tries to maybe set something up. Not quite a good angle, too much momentum on the ball. So Ragnarok will end up vying for possession with Ripple in the orange half. Now Ripple gets a decent win on the 50, but Ragnarok was there for the follow-up, sending the ball high into the midfield. Ragnarok catch and flick right near the goal line, and Ripple just is not fast enough. Can't manage to stop that flick. A really clean play by Ragnarok here.
Very good flick. Lots of speed over the back of Ripple. Ripple actually was pretty close to a save, but wasn't quite positioned right for that flick as it goes past the left side of Ripple. Now Ragnarok is going to keep possession here, flicks it across to the other Ragnarok. Ripple with the quick demo gets it past the last remaining Ragnarok. Can it finish the shot? Ooh, what a save by Ragnarok. Goodness. Incredible. Ragnarok a little awkward there, but keeps possession for itself as it goes up on the wall. And a good flick, but Ripple with a good save.
Ragnarok just able to get so much power on those flicks from all the way across the field up the wall. And it loves going for those things. I mean, for good reason, right? They obviously work. Just look at how effective they are. Ripple now managing to gain possession, fighting in the midfield. Ragnarok catches the ball, goes for the turnaround, maybe trying to bring it up the wall. Go for a flick here. Looks like a nice flick is in order. Ooh. Top left bins, not quite on target, but a good flick nonetheless. Now Ragnarok centers it for the teammate who is there. A really fast follow-up. Dunks it right down on top of the waiting Ripple on the goal line. And just what a nice little flashy goal. We get a nice pass. We get a great follow-up straight onto the defender, and it ends up being an own goal. That's a great BM shot from Rag. You know, I could see that happening in my twos games.
Ripple tried to save it, and it was pretty close, but Ragnarok, I mean, such a fast shot, placed directly on the defender. Now, Ripple, a little bit of a double commit there, and Ragnarok ends up with possession, but ends up having to bring it to its own half, clears it off to the other side as Ragnarok now flicks with a lot of power, but Ripple is there. Ripple now tries to hit it downfield, but it just ends up in the arms of Ragnarok, who again, with possession, goes up on the wall. Oh, but actually couldn't get there in time, couldn't get ahead of the ball enough to get the flick. And now with a quick demo, Ragnarok converts yet another goal as it goes around town and sinks it into the net. The Ripple wasn't ready.
A good showing here from Ragnarok, and this is going to be a convincing game. 12 seconds left on the clock. 2-7 in favor of Ragnarok. I don't see any way that Ripple's going to come back. And, you know, I don't know what to say. I really thought that Ripple was going to come out on top. I think Ragnarok put in an upset here, especially after the showing by Ragnarok against Opti-HC. I didn't think Ripple was going to be that far away, but it seems like Ragnarok, just something about its playstyle, manages to bring Ripple to its knees, and we can see here Ragnarok comes out on top in convincing fashion. We have 12 shots from Ragnarok, only 3 saves from Ripple. I mean, what can you say?
I really feel like the Ragnarok we've been seeing today is much better at turning its dribbles into goals compared to the one we saw in the bubble sword. The bubble sword was really just hanging onto the ball, going back and forth with its own half. But now it turns it into some much better shots that goes into the blue half, and it follows up on those shots as well.
It also seems like it more often goes for normal shots. I could be wrong, but I've seen some pretty good, just like regular flicks and aerials from Ragnarok turning into goals than I feel like I saw during bubble sword.
Yeah, and maybe that's what makes the difference. And here you see my tiny bracket.
What an incredible bracket.
All right, well, that's going to have to be it for me. I got to go, but thanks very much for having me. This was a great tournament, great stuff to cast. I had a lot of fun. Appreciate the invite.
Thank you so much for coming. It has been amazing. Thank you all for helping me cast this, both you and everyone else. Without you, I would have lost my voice here in the last month. So it's been really great to have some other people around here.
Yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah, it's been
thanks for all the viewers as well.
Yeah.
It's a great great time. Happy everybody came out to watch. Good tournament.
The peak was very high.
I hope to see everybody else here in the next one.
Yeah. See you on the Discords or on the next tournament. Whoever you might be. This has been the RLBot Championship 2023. We found our new champions, King and Seer, and it was a lot of fun.
Just an incredible tournament overall. Thank you guys for watching.
GGs.
Goodbye all.
Twitch.tv/RLGem.
Yes, I have it right here.
All right.
Bye.
GGs. Bye-bye.